leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Refuse not falling for the FOMO. Listening to coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
40.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Jim, welcome to Coffee with Captain. I'm Cap. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you're having a great week. We are live on X Audio, X Video, YouTube, and Abstract. Excited to get into it with you today. News continues to come out, and markets continue to pump. We might actually be back this time. We've got a special guest joining us at 9 o'clock for the Builder's Domain. The one and only Sergito from Meebits, rocking the Meebits kit today. Looking forward to having him on and doing the deep dive on Meebits. Really enjoyed the chat last week on Builder's Domain with the Klaynos team. If you missed that, I will. You know what? I should have linked the full interview in the clip I shared this morning. Might take me a minute to find that, but I can, at minimum, I can share the clip that I did post. That's pinned up top if you missed it. And if I don't forget it, I will go find it. I will go find it at some point if I don't forget. No promises. There's still a possibility of not getting back to that. But we are live, and looking forward to getting into it. Enjoy, man. How elite is Spain? They made France look like they didn't even deserve to be in the knockout round. Like, just completely dominated a team that, up until yesterday, France's offense was electric, and Spain is just on another level. Really enjoy. Not only how good does Spain look, how in hindsight now, knowing what we know, how good does Vozinha? Am I saying that right? The Cape Verde goalie. Holy moly! Like, it's the only team in the entire qualifying round, knockout stage, the only team that Spain hasn't beat. They tied 0. Not only did they not beat, they didn't even score them. They tied 0-0. That Cape Verde team and Vozinha look incredible in hindsight. So love to see it. Today, the GOAT Messi knocks off, sends sends them home. I know they all the Brits out there are talking about bringing it home. It's not happening. Messi's going to send them home today. And if you let me change the title real quick. If you haven't seen it, this story, like I have today's proof of simulation for you. Well, a couple proofs, 2 proofs of simulation in one topic. I shared, if you haven't seen it, there's a picture floating around of Messi 19 years ago with a baby in a tub. And the baby in the tub is Lamine Yamal. And I shared it in the war room, and I was like, how did this even happen? And then, kid you not, like, I can't make this up. I opened the app, I opened the X app. The very next post I'm served is the explainer of how this happened, a thread explaining how this actually happened. By the way, before I share all this, GM to all the GMers, appreciate the love on the space, getting things warmed up. Always appreciated. It's extra appreciated when we have special guests like today. Sergito is going to join us talking Meebits around 9 for the Builder's Domain, which is brought to us by Doma. Appreciate all those reposts, bookmarks, the likes, the subscribes, all go a long way. But in particular today, the reposts on the X Audio app and X Audio link and the X Video Spaces is greatly appreciated. Shout out to Osiris, Cool Chick, Web3 Warhead, Machiavelli, Blockmage, Buko, and Finder Found. Greatly appreciate the love over in the chats. Teacher Katie, as always, over in Abstract. And we've got a lot to get into today before I talk about my favorite quote open topic, my proof of simulation for the day. We do have, I mentioned Marcus keep Bitcoin back above 60, pulled back a little bit, but it went over 65K following that cool CPI print yesterday. Today, probably not going to be live during the show, but at 10 o'clock, Warsh, the Fed chair, the new Fed chair, faces the Senate Banking Committee, which I don't know. We may not do a deep dive on that. I don't think we'll have time to talk about it today, but I think it's maybe a bigger one than normal, mainly because this Senate panel is stacked with crypto literate lawmakers, and Warsh is by far the most crypto fluent Fed chair we've ever had. So if you missed it, the headline quote from yesterday's session with the House was he's not ruling out any sector bailout, meaning he said we want to be in position where we're not bailing out anybody, including crypto. I don't think we're getting cuts. Markets are still skeptical on cuts, but futures have been leaning towards no cuts in 2026 until the soft CPI muddled that a little bit. Again, I don't know if we'll hit on it. It'll be at the end of the show, but not only did Bitcoin rip back up to north of 65K, Zcash rocketed overnight. That might be worthy of a headline here. Privacy coins waking up. Speaking of privacy coins and identity coins, I did have a sponsored post this morning, so I'll pin that up top too. Appreciate any love on that. The engagement helps. It helps me keep paying the bills. So if you want to tip today and don't want to be the generous Pingu tipper like my guy Hans is over there in the abstract streets, simply a like or bookmark. No obligations to repost, but I'll pin that sponsor post up top here in a minute. And there was also, I missed it. I didn't really hear anyone talking about it, but the U.S. government moved about 288 million in seized Bitcoin and Ethereum to Coinbase Prime. Often those transfers to the exchange custodians lead to sales, but I don't know. I don't see the government dumping $250 million of Bitcoin. It's just it got brought up. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but worth noting maybe. But Joey, I'm going to change the title and then I will bring you up here in a second. One thing I'm curious, did most people, majority of my timeline is loving the new algorithm on X. Talked about it a little bit yesterday, said Nikita fixed it. I've seen a few bearish on it and want the old timeline back because, and I will say I have Like I was getting a lot of AI slop. Yes, I was getting a lot of like nonsense stuff that I don't care to follow. It was just like whatever was popping off, or usually some engagement farm or something, some political rage bait. And I just don't want that stuff. I don't want to see that stuff anywhere, let alone on my X timeline. So I am very much enjoying the refreshing new timeline where it's people I follow. That said, I have seen some takes where people aren't enjoying it, that now we're back in an echo chamber and they are, like, for instance, they're not getting World Cup, Twitter that they were enjoying. I'm going to show you a post here related to the World Cup, but it's not nearly as much. So I understand the pushback on the timeline change, that maybe they just throttled a little bit too far. I think it was Wob, the Sappy Seals founder, who said they now need to add like a trending tab, something where if you want to see what's popping off, what are the viral posts on X, you can go find that. I don't know where exactly I ended up. Maybe they could throttle it back just a little bit so you still get some of the trending news. I'm still seeing a little bit of it, but I also can appreciate those who have been grinding and have broken out and it went viral. I've seen it, I saw Benjamin White went viral a couple of times on the World Cup content. And now it's going to be probably much more challenging to do that. Like, are your posts much more likely to get seen? Yes. Is it much more likely to get seen beyond your followers? Probably no. Probably a lot less likely to get seen beyond your existing followers. And so I don't know. I'm curious if you have, did he throttle it too far? Is the algo bad? Or is it perfect the way it is? Don't touch it. We're happy. Curious your thoughts. Let me know in the chat. Let's go. Joey, I can't bring you up until I change the title, and I have it halfway done, so I just need to finish this. And I'll bring you up here, and I'll probably change it, but I need to get it done so I can move on. Fed Chair Warsh, excuse me, faces Senate. We'll go with that. And what else? And is X algo bad? Too many letters. Okay, there we go. So before we get into any of that important stuff, this is the post I was referencing regarding Messi and Yamal. This is an actual like proof of simulation. Can't prove me otherwise. Can't convince me otherwise. So if Argentina wins tonight, this photo here, if you haven't seen it, you've probably seen it and didn't realize who the baby was. You may not even realize this is Messi. This is Messi 19 years ago, and there's a newborn, like less than a year old baby in a bathtub. The two people in that photo, if Argentina wins tonight, are going to be facing off in the World Cup final 19 years later. So they go on to say, what are the odds that a baby or a baby wins a raffle to get a pic with Messi? That baby grows up to be a generational talent. The baby becomes the third youngest player ever to start in a World Cup final. Messi remains so great that he would be the oldest outfield player to ever start a final. Both of their teams beat the odds of reaching the final in the same tournament. The odds of this happening are impossibly small, and yet we're one game away. The same year that photo was taken, Messi was featured in an Adidas campaign about being too small to make it. The slogan, "Impossible is nothing." Like, just absolutely wild. Sure, you could say it's all just one big giant coincidence, or maybe it is, in fact, a compelling piece of evidence for proof of simulation. I don't know, but wild nonetheless. And I will say that not only am I excited to see these two face off in the final, I'm stoked that Kane, I may not be pronouncing that right. Does anyone know how to actually properly pronounce Lamine's younger brother? It's like, let me find out exactly how it's spelled. It's, I don't know if it's a European spelling. I really don't know, but it's Keyne. It's either Kine or I'm pronouncing it Kane. I could be way off there, but it is Keyne. His little brother that's went, had a few viral moments. Maybe my favorite gift to come out of to come out of the World Cup. Zane got to see Odyssey.
According
Go ahead.
according to Google, it says Keen.
Keen. So it is Keen. Okay.
K. The phonetic pronunciation, apparently, according to Google, is Keen. Keen Yamal.
Okay. I mean, that's exactly how it looks. Keen. I just thought it was, my improper pronunciation of so many things. I figured it did not sound as it looks, but so Keen, Keyne. He's like 3, I think. Anyways, it's partially why I am probably leaning as Barcelona being one of my teams that I follow and root for. I want to see Lamin's career for the next decade, and his brother is a highlight reel waiting to happen. Enjoy. Who else has seen Odyssey? I'm kind of excited to see Odyssey. Might be the first. Can't remember last time I went to a movie. Couldn't even tell you if I've seen an IMAX movie, like a real proper. I think I've seen one, but I can't remember what it was. So it definitely was not memorable, whatever I saw. But I think the Odyssey is one worth springing and finding an IMAX theater to go see. I am. Anyone else seeing the Odyssey? I saw Zane has tickets. I saw Mayhem is now getting tickets after he saw a few posts on the timeline. Zane is probably. I'm guessing now that he has a proper job, I'm guessing he's probably going to go see a matinee on Friday and take, go catch a 3-hour movie while he's on the clock. That's how these 9 to 5 wagers do it. Is they work about 3 hours a week. I kid, it's a joke. I'm sure he works a lot more than I do. Let me finish. I've rattled off several things this morning and haven't finished, and I may not have finished one single thought. So let me go pin up the that promoted post I was talking about, just so I can beg and plead for some extra love on it. You know what? Speaking of, so it's pinned up top, but in all seriousness, I've got a confession. One thing this algorithm change made me realize is I truly am not someone, I don't seek external validation. I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin, pretty confident in what I've done, who I am. And I don't seek or feel I need any sort of external validation or external motivation. Like I'm proud to consider myself a motivator, not someone who's in need of motivation or inspiration. I'm not perfect. I understand it's motivation ebbs and flows and kind of like a roller coaster, but I just, I have goals and a vision of the legacy I want to leave, and I'm not there yet. So I'm going to continue to build, and at the same time, I'm proud of my accomplishments, and both in my life as a human, as a professional. And so I'd like to say I don't need any sort of attaboys. I don't need any external validators or it's not important to me. I say that. And what this algorithm change made me realize, as I did some reflecting, some self-introspection, if you will, is thank you very much for the generous tip, Hans. Appreciate it greatly. Everyone else that doesn't have 500 Pingo that you want to send my way, you can go smash that like button on the. It starts out, it's all the way to left right now. It just starts out with, I spend a silly amount of time hunting for plus EV plays. It is a sponsored post. I truly mean everything I said in there, though. I do think Concordium is undervalued. I think it's a professional team there's a real narrative looking for the problems that they're actually solving right now. And relative to other tokens like WorldCoin and Zcash, I do think it is potentially underpriced. I don't have a price target for it. I don't know where it goes, but I think not only from a price point, I think it is. We need some new posts in the war room, so I'm not distracted. Thank you very much. I think not only from a price point, I just think from a detention standpoint. Like we were connected with Concordium by way of the Reach team. They're an awesome agency, and they just do good work, and they do good due diligence. And so there's some other. We're not the only one working with Concordium right now. There's some other, some other content creators that also are part of their campaign. But we are pretty selective, and I just, outside of those that are working with us on this campaign, no one's talking about them. Like it's they've been around for a while and really now delivered some really impactful real world solutions to solve real world problems, and it's not getting the love and attention that they likely deserve. They're not paying. I don't have to say this, by the way, that they're not. This is not part of the campaign. I'm just sharing with you all on the house for Concordium. Anyways, I digress. What this algorithm change made me realize is, I am driven by. It's almost embarrassing to say out loud, but I am driven by that external validation. I am driven by or maybe if that's not right, what is certainly real is I hadn't gotten lazy, but I was hesitant to, I'm not a volume shooter. I'm not an engagement farmer, but I had gotten hesitant to post things, even like clips on this show, like trying to hold myself accountable for one clip a day. And I wasn't doing that because it got to a point where I'd send out a post and I don't really care about the likes and the reposts and stuff. I don't think, but it sucked to even put in a little bit of effort. And then it gets seen by 100 people or, 250 people and 10% of them engage with it. It's like, how does that even happen? And I know I'm not the biggest account on this app. I'm not a volume shooter. I don't do the engagement game stuff. I don't do the reply guy stuff. I know there's tactics that I can do to be more effective when it comes to who sees my posts, but it's stuff I don't enjoy. It feels like work, and I'm grateful that I don't have to quote unquote work. I get to do what I love to do, and it doesn't feel like work. Grinding replies and posting engagement farmy stuff, it feels ick to me. And so I've not played it. No hate to those who do. It's just not for me. But what I've realized now is what happened is, because I would often post and seemingly goes into a void, and I don't even know the percentage, 200, let's just say 400, just for easy math. Is that even 1%? No. Yeah. 1% of my followers would even see it. It was very discouraging and very demotivating. So I may not need external validation. I may not need motivation. This algorithm change where I can post, like last night I posted a picture of 4 pictures of me with my friends. And I don't know, I have to go check to see how many people actually saw it. 3,300. So is this breaking the timeline? Is this would anyone else really even consider this viral? No, it's not a viral post, but it just feels, I don't know. I'm struggling putting my brain around it and putting it in proper words. But I said, feels good to be engaging with friends' content again. So it's good both ways, actually, both as from myself posting and seeing my other friends post. Because I'm not a reply guy, I might see a post, I might laugh at it, I might find it informative or interesting. But if it's just something from random account, I'm probably not commenting. I might like it, but that's probably the extent of it. There's not really any engagement. There's no conversation happening because I don't know this person. It's just some stranger that probably threw some topic into ChatGPT and it prompted a optimized language for a viral post for them, and they threw it on the timeline. And hey, it might be something informative or something I like, but it's like I don't care about these people. I'm not engaging a conversation, and so it's going both ways. So I said it feels good engaging with friends' content again. I wasn't ignoring you. It was just the algo serving me up AI slop and engagement farmers. I do think this is bullish for digital art. I do think this is bullish for builders. I do think it's bullish for our niche corner of the internet. Maybe even bullish for NFTs. And that was the post, and it included 4 pictures. That's it. And 30 that the Beeple, the iconic Beeple one-of-ones that myself, Riggs, and Dow Jones got. That was fun NFT NYC. This one here was at ApeFest Hong Kong at one of the side events that actually, I think it was the board council at the time pulled together this side event. And then this was ApeFest 1 on the yacht party. It was on Halloween, so they did a costume party. It's the only time I've ever dressed up. It's actually, those shades are actually legit. I should wear the hollow shades more often, but it's the only time I ever wore that spacesuit. And then Steve and I at Art Basel Christmas party a few years back. And it's just like the difference of, again, is 3,300 views going to move the needle? No, but and maybe this is silly for even thinking like this, but I'm going to post more now that closer to 10% of my followers are going to see something as opposed to 1%. It was just very, and I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize that was what was, I'd put me in a lull or just like a not caring to post as often is why post if 1% of the people that follow me are even going to see it. So while I do think it's bullish for the space, I think it's bullish for those of us here. I think it's bullish for the active participants, the builders, digital art. Where I also understand the counter to this is somebody say, is it? Because where it stands right now, it seems that the only people who are going to see a post like that, or me highlighting a digital artist, or me highlighting some builders in the space, are people who already follow me. We're mutual. I follow them, they follow me. That's getting extreme boost right now. I happen to enjoy it, but I also understand, like, how are we ever going to break out of our niche corner of the internet if no one sees it other than the people who are currently following us? I'm not saying that's exactly how it is. That's how it feels. That's been my experience in the last 24 to 48 hours is I've gotten more, like, people I literally thought left the space. They didn't. I haven't seen their posts for, it seems like years. And I see it and I engage with them. And like a perfect example is let me find it, because I don't even remember what we were talking about. But even just scrolling, it's taking me a while to go back and even find stuff in my feed, because even just this morning, just my activity on this app is up probably 100x, 100%. It's increased by 100, not 100x. It's increased by 100% in the last 48 hours because I'm enjoying it more. Like I'm probably been on the app just as much, but I went from a passive consumer and occasionally posting. And obviously, I host this space. I'm active for at least 2 hours every day, every weekday. Went from that to I'm engaging more because I'm happy to enjoy it. One is that jumped out this morning because I think it went both ways. I started seeing his stuff again. He started seeing my stuff again. Like I like Carlos. I think Carlos is awesome. I think he does crypto Twitter right, where he does talk about crypto, NFTs. He talks about the space. He also talks about things he's interested in, like the Spain national Spain national team. He talks about the World Cup and Europe maxing, but it's not over, and none of it is like overdone. He does paid promotions. But it's not like everything he does. He's not like a walking billboard. It's just he talks like a normal human on this app, and someone that I used to interact with. I literally don't think I've seen a post of his for like a year, and it's not like because there's thousands of quote unquote friends, followers, people I follow in this space. I don't think of everyone. And it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. Meaning, like, if I'm not going and like searching for profiles. Does that make sense? I'm not like, even Steve. I hosted over 1,000 shows with Steve. He had fallen off my timeline. And it's like, I love Steve. He's one of my best friends, but I'm not coming into this app every day like, wonder what Steve's talking about, and searching for Steve K. Bart, because I have to type in Steve K. Bart for the X search box to even. Again, sorry, I don't want to jinx anything. I'm not knocking on X. I'm not complaining, but your search still sucks. But I'm not doing that on a daily basis. And so, like, what I'm fed in the algo, it matters. Like, it does have an impact. It has an impact on my experience, it has an impact on who I engage with. And it's not that I went anywhere. It's not that I'm being a jerk and not engaging with these people. I just didn't see it. And I think it goes both directions. So you took the picture of Steve and I, right? Is that correct? Everyone go give Hizzy a follow if you're not yet. Great photographer and just all around great guy. Yeah, I mean, Buko says it seems like to me, I've had like 10 likes in the past 2 years, going to up my content quality, I guess. Maida says outside of CT, people aren't scared of the like button. What do you mean by that? You think people in CTC stuff, they just don't like it? Is that the take? I don't know if it was a matter of like, see, I don't think it was like, I mean, maybe my content just sucks and no one likes it. I just don't think that's the case, because often it was, I mean, I'm sure some things I post just suck, but for the most part, it just doesn't get seen. Like it's not normal, I don't think, on any social media app for less than 1% of your followers to ever see a post. And it wasn't like, if it was one every 3 posts, and then the third one got 10%, then I think, oh, well, maybe I just suck at posting and 2/3 of my posts suck. And every once in a while I do one that's halfway decent and it gets seen by, 10% of the people. I don't expect all 40,000 followers to see a post ever, but 10% seems a lot better than 1. And again, maybe it's just me, but I know I didn't even realize this until the last 24, 48 hours, and seeing my both ways, who I'm engaging with, who's engaging with my post, who's even seen my post, that it's kind of a big deal. And I do think it is, I net out it's very bullish for the space, because I don't think I'm the only one that's thinking like this. And I think it's going to encourage more artists to share more art, because it's going to get seen more. Oh, I see what Made is saying. Made is saying people were scared of the algorithm will get messed up if they like a post. Well, yeah, you're right, but it was already messed up. Like, and actually, I think that's where they throttled back a little bit, because I was engaging. I was liking a lot of posts. I wasn't necessarily commenting, but I was liking a lot of posts that were, say World Cup related. So I would say probably 80 to 90% of my feed became World Cup posts instead of crypto posts. And I wasn't seeing anyone I was following. Or, out of every 10 posts, I might see 1 post of someone I was following. The other 9 were a viral World Cup post, which I will say, far better than some political rage bait that I could care less about. I just happened to be seeing it because it went viral, because it was engagement baity. Joey, go ahead. GM, thoughts on the algo? Are you a fan of it? Did they go too far? And then after that, feel free to take it whichever direction you'd like.
Yeah. So, the algorithm's an interesting conversation, because I think that like they're trying to find, like, I don't know. I remember with the algorithm, as someone who's been on social media for longer than some of these people have been, old enough to vote. I remember when the algorithm, when it wasn't an algorithm, right? Like when you would just follow people, whether it was Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, and that's who you saw, right? Like you didn't have to curate your timeline, because you only saw the people you chose to follow. And I understand that like long term that had to change, because this is how, they need to be able to make money with ads and this and that and whatever, blah, 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 right? Like, and I remember that if you wanted to find something, all you had to do is type a hashtag, right? So like, if I wanted to find something on World Cup 2026, I would just search, the hashtag World Cup 2026, and anybody who used that hashtag would then show up. Same on Instagram. And, as these apps have become more about monetization than about like social interaction, then we started to see all these different algorithms and, what you liked and didn't like, and what you would sit on for more than 3 seconds, and like all this stuff became so complicated. And now I think what they're trying to do is maybe bring back some of that original feel of like, it's social interaction. You see the people you follow, right? Like I think it's very weird. Like I'll use Facebook as an example, because I'm on there all the time for the collectibles business. Like I get shown stuff on my Facebook timeline for groups I'm not even in. Like I get at least 2 posts a day where it shows me posts from people that are looking for roommates in South Florida, in like a South Florida roommate search group. I'm not even in that group. Like, why am I seeing that? Right. And I'm assuming it's because they're using my pixel Pixel is like where I'm located, and they're just trying to like curate more content for me to get me into more stuff and whatever. But like, I don't care about that stuff. I have to keep constantly clicking like hide, right? So, I think they're at some point maybe they'll figure out a balance, but I just wish we would get back to, and I think that's where they're at right now. To your point, Cap, of where I just want to see the stuff from the people I follow. There's a reason why I took the effort to click follow, because that's who I care about. I don't care about everybody else that I don't follow, and I don't care about news that I don't follow. Like if I wanted to see posts from CNN and Fox and PBS and whatever, I would follow their page. I don't need you to push that on me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I would like every once in a while to get someone does a real, if there is some major trending topic, if someone has a real viral post, whether it's funny or informative, I would like to see that in my timeline. But if it's coming from
that should be under a trending tab.
Exactly.
Your point, though. Like,
exactly.
If I want to see stuff that I'm not following, like people I'm not following, just give me a tab that says like that's trending, that is all the different, like on desktop. So like the reason why I like desktop for X is because on the right side of the screen are all the trending topics that like, are going, I don't know if, if it's because there's so many posts and whatever. And I can just look through the trending topics on the right side of the screen on the desktop version of X.
Yep.
Maybe they just need a tab like that on mobile. So that way, like, it doesn't just get thrown into my timeline.
Yeah. It is. And if it's from a brand account, that's your point. Like, I don't want to see posts from CNN or Fox News. I don't care. Like, if I wanted to see that stuff, I'd follow them. I don't want to see that. Like, they don't need any help spreading their whatever they're talking about. Like, but if it's from an individual, if it's from a human, it is a really informative post, or it's a funny post. Like, yeah, serve that up to me every once in a while. But I do think like that's probably what the For You page should be. So I'm saying a trending tab, maybe they just need to leave following alone. Because for a while, it got to like your following tab wasn't even people you were following. It was like the algorithm was really broken. You couldn't find your friends anywhere following or For You.
Why do we need why do we need an algorithm? Why can't the following page just be the people I follow?
So following, sure. I guess that, and I still think the algorithm can bubble up. Like, I don't care to see someone because there's people I follow that may just, who's active right now. I don't want to see that BS either. And I guess I know I can mute them, I can unfollow them, but I do think there is something to be said for bubbling up stuff that is good that others are engaging with. Like, I want to be more likely to see that on even under my following page. But the For You, whether it's under For You or the create a new trending tab, I think that might be the solution to where it's win-win, where I can like my main tab, I see everyone I follow. It's stuff I want to see. It's stuff I'm obviously interested in. But because one thing I do like about X, it's where I get most of my news. It happens here first. Like whether it's sports, whether it's world news, 9 times out of 10, it breaks here first. Like I'm really dialed into sports. In particular, NFL football, recently World Cup, where every day during the World Cup, anytime there's an underdog slate, I'm drafting, I'm building slates. And one of the things that's really important when I'm doing that is who's in the starting 11. And like I use RotoWire as like my go-to for whether it's MLB lineups or NBA lineups. NFL not as important for lineups. You just well in advance of the game. But with things like NBA and soccer, international football, it is like you don't know who's in the starting lineup until like 90 minutes before kickoff or tip-off. And that's really important. Like it can change an entire slate and the value of the players based on who's in the starting lineup. And X gets it first. Throughout the World Cup, like even searching, like for instance, I could search today, Argentina starting 11. I can almost guarantee you it's going to break on X before it is on any other websites. I don't know how that happens, but it does. Like whoever has that insight, whoever gets the information first, it comes here first. And you may say, well, what's the difference in like a minute or two? It's maybe not that critical because the odds are it's still going to be on RotoWire well in advance of kickoff. But if I'm doing a live underdog draft right now and the starting lineup breaks, I can have like, for instance, yesterday, Barcola started over Doe, I don't know how to say his name. That was a big deal. I had not a ton, but I had Doe exposure in some of my drafts. I had no Barcola. that happened mid-draft and I see it 30 seconds before anyone else, I could have an edge there. It didn't matter because he didn't score. But anyways, I think you get my point. Diego, thanks. I like the Meebit shirt too. It's really high quality. I do not hold a Meebit yet. I hold some Meebit cards and some packs are going to rip here in a little bit. But I need Meebits are absolutely. I'm not just saying this because Sergito's coming on the show today. I truly do want to. For a while, I've said I wanted to add a Meebit to the vault. I need to add a Meebit. I need to add a Klano. I need to add a Final Basu. We have a special treat today. It's not uncommon for us to have a special guest join us at the 9 o'clock hour. Today we get one for a full proper interview with Sergito, deep dive on Meebits. Every once in a while we're fortunate. We also, in addition to that, we get impromptu guests talking about the topic of the day or breaking news from the day before. And today we have not one, but two here on stage that had broke some news or had some pretty big, exciting stuff happen in the last 24, 48 hours. We're going to go back to Joey real quick to finish your thought. And then we're going to go to Kev for a quick update. We're going to bring Kev back for a proper interview. We're going to feature Kev and Final Bosu in one of the upcoming builders domains, but they just had some pretty cool news break yesterday. I want to at least highlight that. And then Cab and the Clay News team might have broke the internet yesterday when it came to going live on Amazon Prime, and wanted to circle back just now that is out in the wild following yesterday's interview or last week's interview. Appreciate them both joining us here today. So we'll get to hear from both of them here in a minute. But go ahead, Joey. Finish your thoughts.
Yeah, I have to jump to a call too, but I just want to say also I wanted to thank you because now I'm writing a whole series on Pokemon, One Piece, and sports, and all the different sets and parallels and artworks that's going to be coming out on BZ. So I have like 4 upcoming blogs that you gave me an idea for the other day. So thank you.
Very cool. No, you're welcome. But I don't think it wasn't me. I can't remember if someone in the war room, someone on the show said it. I just paired it. I just agreed with someone else had the idea, and because it is confusing. There's so many different, even just with Panini alone, there's so many different sets, so many types of cards. It's a little overwhelming for a newer collector, and appreciate you doing it because it's perfect, like actually topical. That's the kind of content I want to see. Like when Joey puts that out previously, I may have never seen it, and it's not that I don't want to see it. It's just the algo really sucked. But no, I'm looking forward to the series, and I appreciate the thank you. But yeah, I don't deserve credit. It was actually someone else. It
might have been Dort actually. I think Dort might have said it in the war room.
Speaking of Dort, Builder Dort,
another guy that. Oh, go ahead.
Builder Dort's back at it again. I just pinned this up top, but goodvibesclub.world/game. No wallet connection required. Labor of love and nostalgia for GVC. Like, love to see it. Go give Dort's post up top some love, and go check out Champions Quest when you get a chance. Go ahead, Joy.
Yeah. So, but I met with a guy yesterday who's a sports guy, and he wants to get into Pokemon with his daughter. And he was literally asking me all these questions. I was like, listen, I'm going to write this blog, and then I'll send it to you so you can read it. So it's not just sports people that get confused. You know, people getting into sports, they get confused, people getting into other stuff. But anyways, so I on the topic of the timeline, like hashtags used to be such a big part of social media, right? Like if you wanted your post to get seen, you know, I say back in the day, I don't even know when hashtags went away, but like you would hashtag, right? Like you would hashtag, you know, NFL meme, or you would hashtag, EDC Las Vegas, or right, whatever, like in all these companies would put out specific hashtags. They would announce like this year, like for example, for music festivals and concerts and stuff, they would say like, this is the hashtag that you should use. And everybody would use that hashtag. And then you would go and you could search, you know, if you went onto someone's post and you clicked, you know, EDC LV 2025, right? If that was the official hashtag, you would click that, and then you would see all the stuff that was also hashtagged with that. And you would get to see pictures and videos and whatever from EDC Las Vegas. Like the NBA finals would do it. Like everybody would do this. And then I don't know when it happened, but that like just went away. And I don't know why it went away. Like there was a time, I believe, where you got penalized on X for using hashtags. Like they were like, don't use them, stop using them. They're not good. So I don't know if the answer is to bring back the hashtag so that way you can search, like, you know, again, like for example, if it was World Cup 2026 and Cap just wanted to see all the stuff that's like trending for World Cup 2026, he would click that hashtag and then he would see it. So I don't know. It just got me thinking of like how much the social interaction has changed. And I kind of do miss, the hashtag thing and being able to just search by. I mean, I found so much content back in the day. I'll be honest. That's how me and my wife met. Funny story.
What was the hashtag?
EDC Las Vegas.
Okay.
And my wife clicked on an EDC Las Vegas hashtag, saw one of my posts, a video I did of during Cascade set that went kind of viral, saw my post, gave me a follow. I saw she followed me. She liked another couple of my posts from EDC Las Vegas. I slid into the DM and now we're married with 3 kids.
Unbelievable.
Like that's
Today,
a 1000% true story. That's how
you heard it here today, Market, on July 15th, 2026. Joey is pushing to bring hashtags back in the year of our Lord 2026. And the guy, not only did he slide into the DMs and ended up marrying the lady and having some kids with her, like way outkicked his coverage. Like his wife's a smoke show. I say that complimentary. And Joey is like myself, just an average, middle-aged male. And so guys, this is your real out for the day. Shoot your shots. You never know when you might slide into those DMs and you might hit a grand slam. So proud of you, Joey.
1000%. 100%. Yeah. And now she's on the peptides, so she's back to looking like 23 again. Yeah. So I know, like, I'm kind of like, what? Anyways, the point is like maybe because you come, like you said, the search function sucks, right? So like, why not just bring back the hashtag and make it really simple to search the things they want? They just click on the hashtag and they see all the posts from the hashtag, right? Like, and the most trending ones are at the top, and keep it simple, right? Like, it worked for how many years? For how many years did hashtags work on Instagram and X that now nobody uses them?
It's valid.
They don't, like, they're bad for your post. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's valid. I actually don't even know why they went away. I don't know what killed the hashtag, but I do know after you're done with your article on explaining all the different Panini Prism sets, I think your next viral post is exactly what Machiavelli says here in the chat. It says it should be titled, "I slid into the DMs and now we have 3 kids." That's the next post. Walk the world through that story. That's an all-timer. Keeping things moving though, because I do want to get to Kev.
Does it beat the vacuum day with the kids?
No, that'll never be topped. But yeah. I do want to get to Kev here because they had some fun new. The builders keep building, and now that the algo is fixed, or at least amplifying those that we're following and the things we care about, I think more people are going to be taking notice to the builders who have continued to ship, continue to build. Kev, GM, thanks so much for joining us on the short notice here. I know we are going to bring you back for a proper full interview, one of these future builders domain segments. But tell us about what's the news? What do we, if they missed the post? I saw 36,000 people saw this final Bosu post yesterday. Give us the TLDR. Memo. What is Memo, and why is it important?
Oh fuck! I feel 2 things. I feel like we picked the right fucking day for the Twitter algo to push this shit to all of our Web3 mutuals. It's been wild. Second, you're basically the first person that wasn't like in the inside circle to find out. So wanted to throw you a bone and know that I trust that you're not gonna leak this shit when I tell you. But yeah, we're on Prime Video. It's pretty sick. It's pretty historical for the space. I think it's, hopefully, I can only hope that it's going to open up a lot of doors for potentially other projects. We get a lot of positive feedback working with Amazon, and they were really excited to get our content up there. It's not the full series. It's going to be obvious to a lot of people that it's the 3 short episodes, but actually it's a huge signal for them to want to put those episodes in there. Amazon knows what we're building. They have visibility on the wash and collect stuff as well. They are super happy to test those 3 episodes because they want to lean into the creator economy. And the way the industry is shifting is that fandom first, everything after, which means if you have the ability to pull people towards videos, towards a product, towards a platform, that's what they want more than commissioning, let's say, like the 52 episodes or a long form pilot or even a movie. the reality is that those 3 episodes might be more powerful than aping everything into a movie as a test mechanism. And so that's a really powerful thing. And so thank you, Web3. Please make sure to watch those videos on Prime, and then get your friends to watch them too. But it's been, I don't know what to say. It's been absolutely wild. It's kind of like the shit I was hoping we could pull off 4 years ago. Now we're there. And I think now it's the snowball effect happening, because we have been talking to basically every streamer on the planet or streaming platform, and working with Amazon has been fucking fire. I think it also helps that they have a couple departments that are in touch with Web3, so through their gaming division that's done stuff with Bored Apes, things like that.
Shout out William Morris. Is that the?
Yeah. So this one wasn't done with Will. It for sure helps that Will knows us really well. This is literally like the entertainment division. So it's more like on, let's call it like the MGM side, but I think it does help that they talk to each other and they have eyeballs on and an understanding of Web3, because it's a product company, right? And so they're probably skating where the puck is headed. Will's amazing, by the way. He's awesome. But yeah, dude, I'm jazzed. It's like, I don't even know what to say right now, because it's like for the first time ever, I don't have to fucking explain it anymore. And story is powerful. So I just posted this thing. I know Kev thinks about this a lot. Sometimes we talk about it, but because I think Final Bosu did a fantastic job kind of leading into story at the beginning of their life cycle, and obviously that's what they've been doing forever. But I did this post yesterday where it's like, you see like Tyson, you can Gemini search it just on Google, go like Claynosaurus Tyson. It'll tell you everything you need to know, how it's tied to the series, how it's tied to the collectibles. They know it's an ancient, which is pretty fucking wild. And then I posted like some early concept art. I posted a screenshot from the video, and I posted the original NFT, which is like the Grail of Grails. The point I was trying to make, and the mythic card from the launch we just did, the Pioneer launch, which is still going. If you guys want to crack open packs, please get some. They're basically tied to this historical moment in time. But when you look at that and you see it all tie in together, dude, story is value. Like, that's what brings a lot of values to collectibles, at least on the IP side. And you can see it. That's why Charizard is expensive. That's why certain IP collectibles on the One Piece side are super expensive. It resonates with people, and you start to see it all start to make sense, I guess.
I love it. Well, congrats again. Excited to continue to follow, support. As Cab mentioned, the Watch and Collect, those packs are still available. It is limited supply though, so go get them while they last. And you can find those at watch.claynosaurs.com. And you queued up Kev perfectly. Kev, tell us about Memo and how that plays into storytelling. And again, I know we are going to have you back for a full proper sit-down interview to go to the deep dive and get fully caught up. But for those who might have missed the post yesterday, tell us about Memo and how it plays into storytelling and what it means for those Final Bosu holders. GM.
Yeah. First off, congrats, Cap. Absolutely love seeing you guys, specifically you guys win. You're definitely one of the best people I know here. So it's been awesome to see, and your team has been so supportive of Final Boss as well. So massive congrats to. What's happening here?
Didn't mean to come over top of you there.
The video.
My bad. Went to play the video and I failed to mute the sound. My apologies. Go replay your take there.
Yeah, no worries. Finally the news is out. We've been working on this for the last couple of months. It's an upgrade of the collector experience that we're usually used to. And Final Bosu have always made the promise to build a brand that's going to be co-created with its holders. And with this platform, we we wanted to give them all the tools so that they can actually go in and create a story for their character, create around their traits, co-create around traits with other community members, but also give them the guardrails, because we have quite a complex universe and different groups of people and storylines. And I think that it's our job to create those rules, set the world, set the boundaries, right? Create all the props and all the elements of the world, and then give our holders a role within that. So every character can go in and learn about the lore of their character, like what place they have. For example, my character that I wear as PFP is living in the mid districts, and yeah, there's a whole lore that's behind it. If I now start writing around my character, I don't start from scratch, but I start from within the canon world. And so, we wanted to build this tool so that it can also grow with. And so it's really a software in our eyes that we keep developing, right? Soon the holders will be able to add turnarounds. We will be able to take their stories and get into animations, and then bring that out, and then really co-create this whole thing. And so obviously there's the whole collector side to it as well, 60 plus badges. There's a mem score. There's holding bonuses. We've got some of our holders having the first collection held for over 4.5 years. So there's a lot of data that's now coming to the service, and really a tool to interconnect them all together. And so, really excited. Super cool to see. I think we've got over 220 collectors since yesterday.
It's awesome,
signed
man.
up and started creating characters. It fulfills our next phase of what Cap spoke a bit about. Storytelling. Like, we're working on a short film, multiple minutes of storytelling that will be our first long format, where we have selected characters from Memo, from the characters from our community that are going to be included.
I love it.
So, it's pretty cool.
I love it. Congrats, and I am excited to have you back. Excited to spend a little more time chatting about everything you're building. And I think one of the common themes there amongst both the leaders we just heard from is alignment, co-creating, collectors collecting, rewarding collectors. Like it's they're not buzzwords. It's what so many people got excited about NFTs and this idea of building brands together and building in public and proof of fandom. And I think of hearing both of you talk, it makes me shout out my guy Steve. Like, it makes me think of the everything token, and the stuff that Tim and Scott wrote about years ago. It's like it's now actually starting to play out. Like, we're actually seeing it come to life. It was. I mean, some of it had come to life then, but it was a lot of it was theoretical or forward looking. And man, if you haven't read the everything, go check it out. Go download an Audible. Go buy a hard copy. I think we still have it linked in the show notes. But it's they were spot on. Like, it's actually happening, and love to see it. I'm pumped for Klanos. I'm pumped for Final Bosu. I'm pumped for all the builders here, and I'm pumped for the active participators. I'm pumped for those who believed in this industry. And even if the algo tried to defade you for a while and didn't let you see things that you were excited about, I'm pumped you stuck around, and I'm excited for this next phase. Whether you're a holder, a collector in any of these particular collections or not, I think a win for Klanos is good for all. I think a win for Final Bosu is good for all. I think a win for Meebits is good for all. It's like this. We are an extremely small, super niche corner of the internet, and every win here, it helps everyone here indirectly, but it does. Like, it's getting the word out there. It's adding legitimacy, credibility. And as these builders keep executing and keep pushing things forward, it's going to, fast forward a few years, it's going to be really hard for people to say, oh, NFTs, that's a scam. When you can now not talk about like one or two, success stories, but you have dozens, maybe hundreds of success stories of real brands, of real IP that was born on chain and now has grown into, a mature company that's thriving and doing some really cool stuff. And I think you'll see a lot of the established brands look to implement things like watch and collect and take.
Yeah. So can I add double?
Go for it.
Because I don't know if many people in Web3 think about it this way, but I'll give you guys the perspective from Web2. Nobody can monetize YouTube. It's a shot in the dark success. And when you monetize YouTube, you need billions of views. And even then, it's like a paycheck to paycheck type thing, which is why a lot of like master YouTube production companies, the ones that have billions of views, are pumping out basically slop. They're not trying to get fans. They're just trying to churn out as much videos as possible. And for them, it's kind of like, if you have a big catalog of videos and you have a ton of views, maybe you can monetize that. But that's not sticky, and that's sort of on a timer. So the great question everybody in the entertainment sector is asking is, how the fuck do you, like, where does the money come from when you could put your shit up everywhere and you can't really monetize YouTube? Well, money can come from distribution deals. So if your stuff goes on, let's say, on a streaming platform, it could come from like broadcasters. So like TV channels that are still alive might want to pay for your content. But it might be an exclusive deal. And then it can come from merchandise. No one is looking at digital collectibles and microtransactions in a way that exists like already in video games, but tied to content. So the narrative we're able to spin with this whole watch and collect Pioneer Edition that we just launched is, dude, like not only did, like, we just did 3 2-minute videos. We put it up on YouTube, got a lot of traction. Our fans are crushing, and we released an ancillary digital collectibles product tied to that experience that made over 200K and going, right? Like, we can have those conversations with everybody in Web 2, and it is just fucking bonkers. Like, in Web 3, this makes sense because we've all been building like that. We have an announcement, we are building with our fans, and then we sell something on the side, and people can collect that piece of history and so forth. It's just not normal in the real world. So the leverage that the Web2 projects have right now is kind of insane, because it feels like a little bit of a life raft strategy for entertainment, where they're like, holy shit, like, didn't even know that was even possible. And then if you can double down and make it like actually hot for your community and find ways to actually bring them on those other platforms, dude, it's so sick. So for me, I'm absolutely like turbo bullish on what everyone's doing in Web3. And I do think it's the future, and I think we'll all make it make sense, like, for sure.
Yeah, no, man, exciting time to be here, and it gets me really excited about where we're heading. And I also know it doesn't happen without builders like yourselves, without builders like Sergito, who's going to just join us here in a minute, without builders that we are fortunate to feature on this builders domain. Like, it's the space at large, and the resilience, the persistence of these builders that make these theoretical or forward-looking ideas become real. It doesn't just happen. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I think a lot of teams, a lot of brands here in I don't know, a few years from now, decade from now, are going to seem like overnight success stories, and those of us here are going to realize that no, these are teams and leaders and builders that have been working relentlessly for the last several years, and real pioneers, like in a novel, nascent industry that just kept pushing the space forward, kept taking swings of the bat. And appreciate you both joining us today. Excited to continue this builder conversation with the one and only Sergito next. This is the Builder's Domain. Don't go anywhere, but while we play this intro, go give us some love on the space. Hit that like, that repost, bookmark if you haven't done so. We love all the likes and the bookmarks and the subscribes everywhere, whether you're on YouTube or Abstract, X Video or X Audio. But in particular, as we bring up a special guest here, would love the extra love and support on the X Audio space and the X Video space. But without further ado, this is the Builder's Domain, brought to you by Doma Protocol.
Yeah. Builders in motion, big ideas, moving out in the open. Screens glow, coffee in the cup, from the stage to the screen, watch it build up. New tools, new rails, new ways to move. Team locked in and the signal comes through. From the first spark to the thing that's real. Tell me what's next, tell me what's the bill, yeah. Tell me what's next, tell me what's the bill, yeah.
Man, I smile every time. Payne is, our producer Payne is, he's on one. The guy is uber talented, and grateful to have him behind the scenes, because I couldn't come up with that intro. But love to hear it, love to see it, and excited to jump into this with Sergito. Join me in welcoming the one and only responsible for this fancy kit I have on today. Actually, if you missed it, I did drop a. We're gonna bring these back out for Sunday for the World Cup final. My my girlfriend and I had to show off these fits this morning. Oh, you know what? I posted it from the Coffee with Captain account. That's why it's not pulled up here. But let me flash this off, and then I'll do a proper intro from another incredible builder here in the space. Fortunate to have him. Fortunate to have him on the show today. Sergito, I think Diego told me you might have been down a little bit. Not from the battle at Azteca, which was an incredible match. I truly enjoyed it. But I heard also you were pulling for France yesterday. Is that true?
It is true. Oh, hi. Thank you, by the way, for having me here today.
My pleasure.
It is true that I was cheering for France. France has been a very special country in my life. Going back, 27 years when I first visited. But I'm just happy to see Spain too. It's Mexico was the one who, I don't want to say broke my heart. To your point, it was a great performance. I was pulling for France, but I'm happy for Spain. And no, Diego called it yesterday. Diego's been our number one fan of Meebits football, and we appreciate him always being on our stream and providing some good feedback and sharing his knowledge with us. And it's I'm happy that Spain. Obviously, Spain and Mexico are obviously very linked. And as long as it's not Argentina again, I think we'll be happy.
What? So is it are you anti-Messi? Messi's not the GOAT. Are you anti-Argentina? Is it just because they won the last one? You want to see someone new? Peel back that onion a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, people are so freaking sensitive sometimes around this freaking area. It's a sports rivalry, right? It's nothing personal. There's nothing, I'm not, calling your mother up, whatever. It's a rivalry that's existed for decades. Argentinians, not just in sport, but socially, other Latin Americans mock them for saying they're not Latin American, they're European. Obviously, there's a history there of why there's a lot of Europeans in Argentina, which we're not going to get into. And so obviously Argentina economically is a disaster. And so it's always just been like a kind of like a social fun battle between, Argentina and the rest, Brazilians, Chileans, like everybody has an issue. I don't know why. Everybody has their own issues. For Mexico, unfortunately, Argentina has knocked us out in the knockout round of 2 of the last 3 World Cups. So there's a little bit of sports hatred there. And that's why, that's the reason why. Again, I have a lot of really good Argentinian friends, including, Patricio Walhalter, the founder of POAP. He's one of my investors in my last company. He's a great friend, great builder in space. And then people like Diego and like so many others. I love Argentinians individually. It's just in a sport, just like with, the Knicks versus the Spurs, when there was the NBA finals. I'm a huge Spurs fan. I went to school in San Antonio. If I was American, I'll be from South Texas. That's my team. Obviously playing my now home team, there's a rivalry there. It's just sports, just for fun, whatever. Don't take everything too serious. But that's why, and I hope Argentina does not win the World Cup. We spent a lot of time on our football stream talking about the referee and VAR decisions that went Argentina away.
0 so far, right? They have Argentina has
against 0 against Argentina, and if you go back to actually the last time Argentina played England in Mexico, so they've played recently in other World Cups, but it's a very famous, Maradona's most famous goal was a handball goal, hand God, mano de Dios. So to stand there and say referees have never benefit Argentina, the most famous Argentinian goal came through a very obvious handball at Estadio Azteca. So anyways, just for fun, I appreciate Diego and everybody. There's a couple of guys that have been chirping on the comments, which I love. I think one of the, going back, I was thinking 5 years ago, actually, when I started in Web3, 5.5 years now, as, kind of just, I was still in Wall Street. And when I created my Twitter account, bought my punk, I remember how did I experience growth in my Twitter account? And it was just because I was just, I don't want to say talking shit, but I say what I think, grown ass 40-year-old man. One of the things that Wall Street teaches you is not to take things personal. And to speak your mind, right? And so I always assume people have thicker skin and they end up showing up. And a lot of my early interactions in Web3 was just very combative. It's part of my personality. I'm Latino, I'm sassy, but I think I mean well. And personally, individually, it's always a good time. It's more it's kind of like this character that sometimes we all play in the internet, and that's mine. But yeah, I never mean any ill intent towards anybody when it comes to like sports or even calling out stuff that might not, that I might disagree with. It's not personal. It's just Web3 business.
So I agree. Big sports fan. In fact, prior to getting into crypto and Web3, my side hustle, my muse, my entertainment was not even so much sports gambling. It was DFS, daily fantasy sports, and deep in that space. And even hearing you describe it, I do think part of this whole, like, it's almost like having to unpack it. But I think part of what I actually really enjoy about Web3 is people can take it too far, right? People can make it like to where their whole personality becomes hating on other collections, other brands. But I think, and I didn't, on the surface, didn't realize, but I think one of the things I enjoy is like kind of like the PvP mentality of
the tribalism, right?
NFT space, right? It's like fun. I don't take it personal, and anything I say is not personal. It's just like we wear sports jerseys, right? And it's like you can have fun around competition. You people rock their favorite their Ronaldo jersey or their Messi jersey in real life, and it's an icebreaker. If you're walking through the airport in a Messi jersey and someone else is in a Ronaldo jersey, they're probably going to say hello. They're probably going to give each other a head nod. Maybe they talk a little smack, but it's not like, oh, I hate this person. The reality is they have a lot more in common with the person than they don't, right? It's that they enjoy the sport. They're fans of the sport. They just so happen to be, their loyalties lie with a particular team. Just like if someone's in NFTs, you're a fan of the sport. So don't like hate someone else. Don't FUD other teams just because you're not a fan of their jersey or your loyalties lie with a different team. It's like, but I think there is so much like parallels to sport fandom and NFT fandom. And I don't even really know how that happened, but it's very real.
It's natural.
Very
it's
much
human
so.
nature.
Yeah,
I have two mental frameworks with which I approach Web3 that I've built over the last 5 years. One is for the space as a whole, and one is for Meebits. I'll speak about the space as a whole first. And for me, and I was sitting with Mickey Malka a year ago talking about punks and Meebits, and he was describing his approach to punks and how he sees them as like kind of like Ferrari Club of America. Whereas I was talking about Meebits and how for me Meebits are more like the Lego men, and we'll get into that. But broadly speaking, Web3, I see them as like a sports conference, right? Like a not conference, but like a sports league. To your point, right? For me, NFTs and Web3 is like not like the NFL or the NBA because we're tiny. It's like the Pickleball Association of America or whatever little league has formed around pickleball, or I don't know, another small sport, call it lacrosse, right? Only people in like Northeast really play lacrosse, but there's like a professional league. And so, yeah, when you're like walking around with your little like, I don't know, Manhattan or New York City pickleball team t-shirt, like you are representing pickleball fandom to the rest of the world. But then when you show up to a pickleball tournament, you are going to cheer for like New York over San Francisco or Boston over Philadelphia. And it's nothing personal. I do think sometimes people have to develop a more of a thicker skin around here, because I also think a lot of the reasons why Web3 kind of like went away is because people take it too personal, too emotional. Who wants to be around whiny bitches? Nobody does. Like nobody does. So let's just have fun. Let's build. Let's try like take a lot of shots on goal. I think one of the things that's most exciting, I know Cap was just on, I don't know if he's still on or not, but congratulations on everything over the last couple of weeks. It's everybody's taking different approaches and different like playbooks, and it's really, really good. If you look back at 21, everybody was kind of trying the same thing, whereas now you have very differentiated paths to go forward and try to do different things with the IP that they created, or in our case, that they steward. And that's really, really exciting. But at the end of the day, right, it's like, yeah, I'm wearing my pickleball hat, let's pretend, right? And I'm walking down the street. If I see somebody else with a pickleball hat, I'm going to be like, yo, what's up, bro? We both like pickleball. But if I go to a pickleball thing and I'm wearing the New York and you're wearing Boston, I'll be like, oh, New York. It's fine. It's normal. It's natural. We're tribal by nature. That's a human society and civilization's always been tribal by nature. And that's one of the reasons why I love NFTs as well, because if you take it one layer in, and this is where my mental framework for Meebits comes in, which is like the Lego man, is like, yeah, within your tribe, you can find your individual characteristics that represent yourself or your traits. right? Who I am within the punks, who I am within the Clanosaurs, who I am within the Meebits, and what little unit that I represent, what traits do I like, what do I embody. And that's the same thing that happens within sports franchises, right? If you think about the Knicks, how many celebrities own courtside seats, right? And then there's like the bandwagon fans this year that maybe managed to buy one playoff ticket and they took 100 pictures to last them 100 years. And then there's the season ticket holders, the guys who've been going to MSG for 25 years and suffering every single year. They split the season ticket 4 ways with like their cousin or their best friend or their neighbor. And so there's different concentric circles of fandom, and everybody cheers on the Knicks in this case. But everybody's a basketball fan. So I think there's different layers, and sometimes people get too caught up in the minutia. I think at the end of the day, what we want to see as a Web3 space is we're able to have fun. Like if you see a party and it looks like shit, like you see a club and like the music's not really cool, the lights look off, people are not having a good time, people are fighting inside, you're not going to want to go in.
Yep.
But if you see a club that has a huge line outside and like people are coming out with a big ass smile and everybody looks happy and the music's great, you're going to go stand in that line. So anyways, a little bit of a tangent there, but
I love it. I've thought of the sports analogy before, the jersey analogy, right? But I think even more so than soccer, football, basketball, I think like the niche, like the pickleball analogy, that really hit for me because you're exactly right. It like people who are deep into pickleball and they follow, the pro pickleball league, they probably have their favorites. They probably have who they think is the GOAT. And if they're at a pickleball tournament, they're not sitting right. They're probably not rooting for whoever other people think is the GOAT. They're not rooting for the other team that they're not pulling for. But if you're outside of the niche event, you're all fans. You're on the same team. Just like I think all of us here in crypto, and more specifically in NFT, PFP land, we're all on the same team. And it's okay to poke, have fun, have some friendly competitions. Maybe some of the PvP stuff went too far. And I think it's also, for me anyways, it hits different when it's individual community members supporting their team in jersey, as opposed to like brands going at other brands or fighting other brands, especially if they're like punching down. That doesn't hit quite the same. But yeah, the pickleball analogy, that really kind of like was an aha moment that makes so much sense. Zonko in the chat agrees. He's like the fandom description, because it's something like that, just a bit deeper. Because when we see people wearing our favorite team jerseys, we don't stop and go out of our way to chat them up. If I see a back hoodie or a Board Ape Club hoodie, I can't believe I just said back. If we see a Board Ape Club hoodie, I stop what I'm doing and I go say what's up. It's kind of like a frat. And
dude, F1 was the same way for me. I've been watching F1 since I was little in Mexico. And now that, people are fans because of everything that's happening with the development, it's great. But before, when you saw like somebody with like a shirt or something for one of the drivers of the teams, you're like, holy shit, there's like 2 of us here. Whereas now it's everywhere. One thing I do want to add to your comment there, I do think that, and maybe there's better ways of doing it, but there is a lot of like stuff that should not be just looked the other way when it comes to Web3.
Agreed.
When things are fraudulent, where things are material misrepresentations that are making people put their money in places that might not really be representing the truth. And those should be called out from the highest levels. Personally, I've done some of that myself, taken heat for it. Again, I don't really care. If you think you have the facts and the truth behind you, then that's what stands the test of time. But I do agree with you, like fighting for the fact of fighting, or just, I feel like, since it's such a part of human nature, I would love to see some sort of like actual competition, actual like annual competition, kind of like the Hogwarts houses competition through the year, because people do want to compete. And it's not like floor prices are now so independently removed from actual success, right? Like they're not really the best metric for what somebody's doing, just starting from the different collection sizes or different blockchains, right? Like Planos are in Solana. Obviously, they don't have the visibility that some of the other projects have just because they're an OpenSea or Blur. And so, but it would be cool if there was like some sort of like competition where people could come out. I think that's what's missing, that outlet's missing, and cheer on, Planos running a beer mile versus the Meebits, or playing a football match or a chess match or whatever that might be. I would love to see like Web3 Olympics one day for people to really come out and like have that opportunity to cheer on the team without it turning toxic. And like just like online fighting, that then it just gets negative also, because people feel so much braver when they're sitting behind a keyboard and like there's nobody in front of them, which is
Exactly.
really funny too.
Not to keep leaning into the sports analogy, but wholeheartedly agree. And I think floor price for a while, I thought it's not a broken metric. It's a KPI.
It's good. It's good.
It's just a key performance indicator. It's just one data point. And so often it becomes like the end all be all. And if this team has a floor price of 0.1 and this other one has a floor price of 5 ETH, well, the 5 ETH collection they can't make any mistakes. They've clearly done everything right. They're winning. And it's like, are they though? It's like, it'd be like saying, the Detroit Lions are the best football team in ever in history because their get-in ticket prices are the most expensive. It's like $400 to get into a Lions game.
Really?
Or we don't measure NFL teams based on their ticket prices. Like, might they have, they live in the Giants or Jets, they're the best football team because it's expensive to go to a game at MetLife. Well, if you don't follow American football, they're not the best teams in the league. It's just
the Jets are not good.
They just so happen to be in a big market, one of the largest media markets in the world. And so they got bigger TV deals but it doesn't mean they're the best team on the field. It doesn't mean they're executing the best. In a lot of cases, they're far from the best, but I do wish, not saying that floor prices go away. We never paid attention to it, but I do wish that we had other things we talked about when we measured success of what teams are doing, what they've accomplished. This idea of like a Web3 Olympics, this is like 2 days in a row I've mentioned Ansem. I don't know what's going on. No offense to Ansem, but I caught a clip where he was talking about crypto events. Kind of like he almost like gets cringe when he thinks about going to the next crypto event. Like we're going to go to a quote unquote crypto event. Like who's excited to go to a crypto event? Whereas he's like, let's do some fun stuff. Like I think he used the example of like, let's have a Web3 basketball tournament and Solana puts up $250,000 for the winning team, the winning collection, like something that gives people a reason to come together, that it's not just talking about tech or, we're exhibiting a booth at a trade show. And there's, if you're talking NFT NYC, you go to the main keynote, there's 7 people in the room.
I have the honor of never have stepped inside an NFT NYC.
Good for you, man. It is. It's rare that I talk negatively about others, especially
those. Disrespect. It takes a lot of work to put an event together.
Exactly, it does. But to your point, we do have I think, somewhat of a responsibility to call things out when we see.
I'll tell you why I never went to NFT NYC. It was April 2021 or March. I had just met somebody new in the Nifty Gateway Discord. I was a moderator there when things were really popping off, and he was 2 weeks old into the space, literally 2 weeks old into the space. Great guy, but 2 weeks old into the space. A couple of weeks later, he's like, "Oh, dude, I got approved as an NFT NYC speaker to talk about like digital art." And I was like, "Okay." And I never really cared too much for that. It's really funny that it's probably the biggest like conference as far as people coming to New York and coming together, but nobody really goes to it because I feel like their curation sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. Yeah.
It's a cash grab. Their model, if you're not familiar, they invite anyone who wants to be a speaker. No offense to anyone who's spoken there. There's great speakers from time to time, but it's also, if you apply, you're probably going to get approved. And their grift is they then want you to sell tickets to your friends. Like they're using they don't pay their speakers. They just use their speakers to get audience there. And unfortunately, what it does, it dilutes the conference.
Yep.
They'll have 17 stages. And so you go into someone you really want to speak that should have a room full of people. And there's like no exaggeration, there's 7 people in there because it's such a diluted conference. Then you go on the trade show floor and it's, last time I was there, I walked the whole exhibit, didn't know a single brand. Like maybe I'd heard of them, but not one that I was interested in or involved with. And it was just like, it was just really, to me, it's like a big cash grab. And it really is unfortunate that became like the preeminent flagpole conference for NFTs. Like, we can do better, and there are better conferences. It's just for whatever reason that became.
NFC Lisbon is the one for me. It's an incredible event. It's obviously a little bit of a conference, but also like the events around there are so good, and Lisbon's amazing. Other than landing at the airport and going through immigration at 6 a.m. But yeah, definitely. I think being able to just speak freely and have criticisms, I think they're constructive. Like this one we just had about NFT NYC is kind of like circling back to the earlier part of the conversation. I think it's okay, right? Like people should be able to feel like, it's not just like want me energy that also turns very, very toxic quite quickly. because it might also be used to take advantage of folks. But I would love to tell you about Meebits.
Let's do it. And I got an idea for you. Talking about,
Yes.
forget a basketball tournament. Maybe what we need is an international football. I don't want to call it soccer, but I also don't want to confuse
soccer, it's fine.
what I'm talking about. Maybe a soccer tournament. Like I would play. I would probably embarrass myself, but I absolutely would play if we had a Web3 soccer tournament.
It would be amazing. So there was one, right? Andrew, the guy who had the upside down cool cat back in the day, I think here in New York, he hosted one. I think Rec Guy put a team together and they played in it, if I remember correctly. It was too far for me, so I did not participate. I don't really go to Brooklyn unless I necessarily have to. But I know there was also Uniswap held a really cool soccer tournament at DEF CON in Buenos Aires last year that looked amazing. And I believe the Uniswap team won it, and the content around it was pretty cool. Yeah, I would love to do that one day. It's funny, I won't be here in New York for NFT NYC. Already had a commitment, but yeah, maybe we'll definitely have something going on. And I think my goal for NFT NYC for that week is just to team up with other projects, because we all, everybody holds the same 5 things, and it'll be a lot better instead of going from like, we had like the Meebits Cafe in Palo Alto right next to the Node thing, and it was literally just every single punk holder walking over to the Meebits Cafe, having a great time, listening to Matt and John from Larva Lab speak, and then walking right across the street again, or like next door to Node, and we're all punks. So I think we could get a lot more mileage out of coming together as teams and really like saying, hey, like, you guys, there's a lot of holders of all of our projects. Especially now that resourcing is kind of like thin across the board, let's put something together that just benefits everybody, instead of trying to be, obviously, like punks will still have their brunch and that's kind of like their own thing, but especially for the smaller projects where they probably don't have the resources, or we put together like a really awesome brunch at NFC Lisbon for Meebits, but we also invited other folks that were there, and it was really good, and it wasn't that expensive either. So I think that obviously the more teams that come together, the more fun that people can have, and really go back home and being like, yeah, I love holding my NFT, because even though it's down 99%, I get to hang out with these types of folks or these people when I go to like the cities and so on. Yeah, I love your jersey. I saw
really high quality. I don't know if it comes through on the video or not, but I was, I was impressed. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. As does my Venezuelan girlfriend. Huge. I had no idea how passionate she is about the World Cup, and as Venezuela, like they don't have a soccer team, but she's basically rooting for.
They do. They have a good one. It's just obviously
not World Cup.
Other challenges in their country right now, but La Vino Tinto is what their nickname is, which means the red wine shirt. They're good. It's just South America is really difficult to qualify out of.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Yeah, like it's you got to beat the the Argentinians, the Brazilian. Like it is maybe the toughest qualifier of the bunch. But yeah, she's super deep into it. She's at work during the day. I text her updates live texting her updates during the games. Had no idea. Also had no idea how much I would fall into this rabbit hole. Like I've been around the sport. My oldest daughter, she's like 25 now, but she played, high-level club soccer up through her sophomore year in high school. I really enjoyed going to the games, but I just, for whatever reason, and I like watched World Cups in the past, but I never went down the rabbit hole, never got deep into like following the Premier League or any of that stuff. And I'm hooked. I don't know what it was about this one, but I am stoked, not only for, today's game and the final, but I'm stoked to like actually actively follow the sport now. I'm gonna do it. Was talking this morning with Steve. We're gonna do a Premier League fantasy league. Never thought I would be doing that. And so yeah, thank you for the jerseys. Thank you for these packs. We'll rip those here in a bit. And I'm kind of kicking myself. I apologize. I'm down bad because there was a few people that did some activations around the World Cup. Meebits football being one of them. And had I known how much I was gonna fall in love with the game, I would have went hard at this thing. And then, week or two into the World Cup, I'm like, man, I could have done a lot more and like actively participated in some crypto stuff, not just the underdog drafts. But yeah, tell us about, I've got other questions, just Meebits higher level, but if you don't mind, can we dive into Meebits football a little bit? And
sure. It actually ties perfectly into like our grander vision for Meebits. As awesome. I was saying, I have 2 frameworks, right? One for the space as a whole, which is kind of like a nascent sports league. And then for Meebits, it's the Lego Man, and not because that's like the dream partnership only, but because the Lego Man, or think of like Barbie. Let's use Barbie for a second here, right? Barbie is the same character, but she puts on different outfits, and she becomes a doctor, a pilot, a race car driver, a housewife. And so for me, I think Meebits have always had this, they're little human-like characters, just like punks. Obviously, their provenance is the best in all of like digital art, in my opinion, having been made by Larva Labs back in 2021, and having been the collection that Matt and John say, hey, this is our most advanced, intricate collection. We pretty much put everything that we wanted to do with punks, but we didn't know how to at the time. We put it into Meebits. And so Meebits had that ability to represent you in the digital realm. And so I was listening to Alexis Hanahan like 2 days ago. Also, I think it was on TBPN or whatever that live stream is called. And he was saying how digital collectibles are the art of our generation, right? So if you combine the fact that art historically, going back to caveman paintings, right? What's the number one muse for art? What's always been the number one muse for art? It's been us, right? Humans. We drew little like caveman figures, and then obviously we started painting, and we painted, humans, and literally like the majority of art is about us. And so the fact that Meebits are that digital representation of us into this new world for this new generation, of which we are, the first members. You and I are older than the average person in the space, but we're still, that first generation that really start interacting digitally as much as they did physically. So Meebits being able to just kind of like put on different outfits beyond the ones that they're already wearing, that Matt and John made with inspiration that they got from, New Yorkers and all the trades. And we've written a lot about, I'm not going to bore your audience. There's a lot of writing, and you can listen to the episode 1 of the Meebits podcast, which is on our YouTube and Spotify, to hear Matt and John talk about the inspiration for Meebit trades. And then our Meebits account has the pinned post is a talk they gave in early May here in New York for our 5th anniversary, talking about the creation of Meebits. For us, as we think about the future of Meebits, is how do we take that incredible foundational IP and give it the ability to represent folks in the different things that are happening in the world. And so the World Cup presented that opportunity. Why? Because it is the largest sporting event. And to your point, right, you just kind of like made our point early on, which was everybody's going to tune into this thing. Why? Because first of all, it's held in North America, which is just the biggest media market. 2, it is a lot of fun. It's every 4 years, so you don't have to like really be glued beyond the month. And then 3, every major brand's going to sponsor it. And so they're going to be pushing World Cup down your throat anywhere you are. And that's exactly what happened. So our bet was, hey, let's take this foundational, incredible IP that we have and dress them in a way that allows people to represent their national identity in this area of attention that the whole world is going to be captivated by. And so that's how Meebits Football came around. So Meebits Football are these little digital collectibles that are like, we call them, in-house we call them mini Meebs. Outside they're Meebits collectibles. They're Meebit-inspired characters. They're smaller than a Meebit. And they are wearing the different jerseys of 30 of the 48 countries that participated in the World Cup. We offer them as NFTs. We did 2 drops. We did Group 1 collectibles in this early spring. That was just 6 teams. And it was for us to kind of like really get a sense of what people wanted to see, what they didn't want to see, pricing, and so on. And then we did a larger drop, which we call Group Stage, at the beginning of the World Cup, the first week of June. And that included 24 more teams. Every NFT comes with a other side avatar. Obviously, Meebits were created for the metaverse, and other side, you guys, an investor in Miko, and we're big believers in the future and the success of other side. So pretty much everything we've done has come with an other side avatar. And then we launched a couple of different physical collectibles or items like your shirt around the collection, because we understand how much people like to wear and represent things physically, see them, touch them. And so for me, Meebits, kind of like I said, like Barbie or like the Lego Man, like can really dress up and play and participate in different things that are happening around the world. Now, when you think about the utility of NFTs, right, the fact that they don't just have to be things that you stick in your wallet and you hope and pray that they appreciate in a few years. Like I grew up playing Pokemon trading cards because I really liked the game and I like Pokemon. But for me, like I wish, honestly, I hadn't played with all my cards. I had a ton. I actually qualified for the Super Trainer Showdown in 2000, and I won thousands of packs.
Wow.
for winning the Texas regional qualifier. But for me, they were playing cards, and so I would play with them. And so for me, NFTs and again, different strategies for different folks. For us, we want our NFTs, our Miko NFTs, to be playable, to be things that you can use. And so we developed a couple of fantasy and bracket games around Meebits football that allowed people to participate, engage with the tournament. It didn't have to be all in fantasy like some of the other products that you'd need to know the player names. We understood a lot of our audience, didn't really know names beyond like Messi or Mbappe or Ronaldo. And we made it so that we had 5 total games. People lined up their Meebit collectibles depending on the teams that they had. They got points for defense, midfield, attackers. Again, very, very like a fantasy light, I would say. Mm-hmm. And we gave out thousands of dollars in prizes. We gave out Meebits, we gave out ApeCoin, we gave out Ether. So match day saw 1 Ether for each winners, and that was the group stage. And for the knockout stage, we've had 2 games. One was round of 16 and quarterfinals, and then this final game that's happening right now is semifinals and final. We also have a bracket game with different divisions. So if you hold a Meebit and you win the bracket game, you get a pig Meebit. Which at the time, obviously, Ether has moved around a lot. It was worth like $8K. That's just for holding your Meebit and winning the bracket for that division. Then if you held, I think it was 3 or more collectibles, you have the gold division, which is just an awesome human Meebit. And then a couple of different prizes for divisions, even free to play. If you didn't hold any of our assets, but you wanted to participate and get into Meebits football, you could for free. And whoever wins that bracket is just going to get a boatload of some of our really cool stuff that we made physically. So that's the idea. I know I've spoken a lot, but it was taking the foundational generational IP that we own in Meebits, apply that idea of they can be anything you want them to be because they're like little humans and they can represent ourselves digitally, by wearing the different jerseys of the teams that you like or the countries that you represent, and then also using them as characters or as different playing pieces in games. So they're just not, I see other collectible projects and they're great. We'll never talk down about anybody. I think everybody's trying different things, but you buy something and you hold it and it sits there in your wallet forever, and all you're doing is praying that it goes up. With Meebits Football Collectibles, the game ends this Sunday. But for a month and a half, you had the ability to use your Meebits Football Collectibles to participate and try to win Ether or OG Meebits or merch and so on. And we had a lot of really exciting things happen. We had our own treasury of Meebit collectibles, so we actively trade. I think last we counted with 300 trades between Miko and holders who were like, hey, I want that Spain defense. I have a Qatar midfield. We took every trade, by the way. So we're just trying to get people excited about the game. So we traded back and forth, which again goes back to me playing Pokemon. And it wasn't, I see, it's weird to me now seeing people buying card packs or boxes and putting them in a vault. I understand why, or a storage unit. For me, when I was a little kid, hell no. You were ripping those packs and you were building decks and you were trading back and forth with your friends for the cards that you needed for the game. And that's the spirit we wanted to bring to Meebits football. And that's what we did. And so, people were trading back and forth. We then burnt the base level collectibles for legends. So we did 15 characters that represent legends from football. So we had Pelé, which is, I don't know if you can pull up Meebits Football Legends in OpenSea, but we had Pelé, which is this beautiful black and white NFT to represent, 1950 when he first played, and obviously TVs were not in color. We had Maradona, we had Jorge Campos, which is the iconic Mexican goalie that wore the neon kits. So those are the legends. We got Beckenbauer, we got original Ronaldo Nazario, and Javier Batistuta. We had to make an American one for my American friends. So we put Alexis Lalas there. I don't really like him anymore. But anyways, we didn't want to leave the host nation out.
He might be the only personality that is has negative brand equity on this World Cup. I feel like he's getting, maybe it's not fair. Maybe it's they're being a little too harsh on him, but I feel like he's went, there was probably a lot of Americans who were casual fans, remember him playing, that might have liked him, and then now after seeing him and getting dunked on by
again, the big rivalry that we have in Mexico is the U.S., right, when it comes to men's national team. And so Landon Donovan is persona non grata in Mexico, so it was that, or he was probably the most successful one. I always thought Pulisic was overrated. I think that just came to fruition. Lalas, at least, is people that they know from watching, Fox and the coverage. But so there's a lot of parallels between soccer jerseys, especially for the World Cup, and we've written a lot about it, and all the lore that went into the different jerseys, right? And like, for example, the Netherlands away jersey has like 7 different little triangles that are orange in different shades of orange, and that pays homage to the Dutch guy that invented the telescope. And so if you look at the Colombian jersey, it has a very subtle like butterfly reference in the actual World Cup, not the Legends one, where that's a reference to one of their famous authors that's always talking about, kind of like surrealism. And so a lot of that same idea is what Matt and John applied to Meebit traits.
I love it.
So we see a lot of parallels to it. You're wearing a Snouts Portugal jersey right now. Kind of wish we had made Spain instead of Portugal. But that Snouts logo, it's not the actual Meebits official logo. The Meebits are square. That Snouts logo that you have on your chest, on your shirt, is the logo of the in-brand collection that Matt and John put into Meebits. That's kind of like the Gucci or like the whatever brand you like that's fancy of the Meebits world. And so mostly pigs wear it, and pigs are like the hype beast of the collection. And so it's like very if you know kind of thing that Matt and John put into the Meebits traits, and that inspires us to create new things for Meebits. I'll stop there just to take a sip of coffee. You probably have some questions.
Just real quick on the jersey front, one that I did catch. I wasn't aware of all those. One that was brought to my attention was Belgium's jerseys this year was a tribute to Rene Magritte. Am I saying that right? Magritte. In Belgium surrealism. And it's just like that detail, that focus. So first, like, summing up my thoughts on everything you just shared there is really well done. I love the attention to detail. I love how you've executed this activation, where a few things that stand out to me. You rewarded your holders, your supporters. They had extra prizes and extra perks that they got but yet you didn't exclude those who weren't a holder. Anyone who wanted to play could go play, and maybe they didn't have, the full, prize pool, but I think all that, and then doing it on chain, whether someone's going to partner with other side and have kits in the other side, or just by building an on-chain game, by using NFTs in your game, and then also tying in the physical element from the kits to the cards. Like, it's just like you're hitting on all these things that I'm not saying there's one right way to build in crypto, to build on-chain, or to build from a native NFT PFP brand. But I think what I like scratch my head so often, I see some of these brands that it's almost like they forget about the tech, or if you don't want to call it an NFT, don't call it an NFT. But it's like they ship something to the quote unquote masses, or a physical product, and there's no tie back to the technology. They're not leveraging blockchain technology, which can unlock so much as it relates to fandom. Even if it's something as simple as you scan something to prove that that creates a digital variant, or proves that you actually were there, you were a fan on that last activation. That who knows what you could use that data for in the future. I think that one of the things that I don't see often enough from other Web3 brands is leveraging the tech so that they have the data. Like, the data is so valuable, current and future, that it's like, why not? It doesn't take that. It's not a cost thing. It's a little bit of more effort and time maybe, but I think the return on investment there is certainly well worth it. And then the other thing, and I'll hand it back to you, but it did jump out to me that it was priced, I don't want to say fairly, or it was somewhat economical. Like, these are really nice jerseys. They're oftentimes in Web3, it's like everything's a luxury item, and it's like, oh, you want a hoodie, it's going to be $250. It's like, man, you're not Justin Bieber. Like, you don't have millions of people wanting this item. Even if it is a collectible, it's maybe a few thousand individuals might be your market for that. Like, you don't need to sell something. Yes, people can sell premium items, and I get that. I'm not saying don't do that, but when you're talking about an activation, when you want people to play, when you want people to participate, something like pricing jerseys at $35, to me, it seems a lot more reasonable than a $350 kit that like it's just you're almost eliminating so many of your potential, new community members when these, I'm not saying you, but some of these, crypto native brands that every time they launch a physical product, it's like the price at the highest tier that they are an LVMH brand or a Gucci. And it's just the reality is we're not. Very few are even in that that range, even in our niche world. But to get 5 packs for $15 or to get a tote bag for $15, a jersey for $35, it's fair. It's priced, to where it's not going to turn off people who aren't part of your brand ambassadors already or your core community members. And so yeah, on all those fronts, like really well done. I appreciate the activation. And yeah, I also didn't even highlight the hats, but yeah, feel free to take, add any or.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate you noticing that. And I think, if we want to talk about the business of NFTs and Web3, and for us, my background obviously is Wall Street. And then I spent 3 years at Fireblocks. Actually, I was the first person to sign Robinhood to Fireblocks back in the day, which is really crazy now to see the chain go live. And they have an incredible team. And it was an awesome time back then. It's probably one of my favorite deals to work on. And then I moved over to a startup that I called Popset with my partner Sven. We tried for a year, it didn't end up working out, but I came over for the tech. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I didn't leave Wall Street to come play with, little characters only. I really enjoyed having my punk. And it's also not my background, right? Like obviously there's animators and there's artists in the space. I'm a finance guy. I'm a macro guy. And through that, I've learned that it's all about technologies that really expand, the capabilities of humans and bring us closer together. If you look at the history of like the S&P 500, the largest companies through history, again, saying history twice here, have always been tech companies of their moment, of their generation, right? Right now, the biggest companies in the world, except for NVIDIA, which again, this is the new era of AI, but if you go back to when I left Wall Street in 2021, right, it was software companies, it was consumer companies that back in 1999, they had crashed down 99%. But they had survived once, and two, they had also created things that brought us closer and that took advantage of like these new developments, such as, computing power, social media, the internet, online commerce, and so on. So when I look at Web3, when I look at crypto and NFTs, I don't see just a cool character, a new IP, something that, with Meebits will end up at the MoMA one day. I really see an opportunity to connect global commerce and to really have almost like, cookies that are living in your wallet, which, has been tried so many times, including POP, which my friend Patricio, started, where you can build through time a really close relationship with those clients and those customers and those collectors, right? There's different degrees of it. It's fine to say customer, it's fine to say client, right? If you're buying something from me, you're my customer. You can build different layers of connectivity and then, reward them like we saw with so many other companies that have done Web3 stuff, but also just develop an understanding what is it that they like, what is it that they are into, what they engage with. Like football for us was such an eye-opening experience as to what people really liked. I'll give you an example, and we didn't talk about this. During the mint of the group stage collectibles, we had 20 OG Meebits in the reveal pool. So you could pull a Meebit, kind of like a gacha mechanism. We also had a collection-wide offer that was open during the group stage where, it was like 50% down from the mint. So it was like the mints were like $16. So we had an $8 offer. So you could go back and re-roll. And people really liked that. Honestly, it was like not something that we had planned, but we're like, hey, people seem to like to re-roll. So by being able to interact with digital assets and actually see human behavior and how people kind of just go about things, it gives you such a better understanding of who you're dealing with. And so, kind of like to bring it home, why the jerseys are $35. Honestly, making money on physicals is extremely hard. And I know there's wild numbers being thrown around by all kinds of people. If you actually have experience in physical products, it is really hard to make money on them. And that's why those industries are so consolidated, right? That's what Unilever owns pretty much every freaking brand that touches your house. And yeah, there's obviously stuff like that gets sold into them as new things pop up. The reality is physical products are really hard to make money. So for us, physical product is a way to let people to wear their Meebits stuff. They wear the Meebits trades, that partnership with the Hundreds and the Snouts hoodie, or with merch and those really cool like square rim hats, or this that we develop our own with like the Mexico jersey, the Portugal, the France, and so on, right? For them to be able to feel close to the brand. But if I charge, let's say I make $5 on the jerseys at $35, right? Like if I charge $15 for them more, $50, I think it's a little overpriced. And I'm not gonna charge you more to make $15 more on like 50 jerseys that we made. Like that to me is almost like disrespectful, right? Like trying to, when we're participating in this digital economy where people are so excited, very few people in the world today are excited about digital assets. And I was listening to Cap's comments there as I was waiting to come on, and he was talking about telling content creators and all these bigger content and animation brands that, hey, there's people here that want to engage digitally with these assets, right? Like the viewer cards, or I don't know what they're called, but like people want to pay you money to own like scenes of that. That's a very small world, right? Like this is a very, very small world. And the fact that we are here early and we're pioneers, we're on the frontier of this, to turn around and try to make money on shirts and hats. It's like Apple turning around and trying to make money on fax machines back in 1999.
Yep. It's okay to make money. It's okay. Like you're for-profit business.
It's okay, but like we have an
you need to drive revenue. It's the oxygen. Like you got to keep the lights on.
Sure, but like, tell you what, shirts and hats are not going to turn the lights on keep the lights on for any of these companies.
Right.
And so for us, that's more like, hey, obviously we're recouping our investment on making these things, having them shipping stuff. Man, I feel like I'm an Etsy store owner. The UPS store guys down the street, like they know me by name now. I've been thinking Matt, our intern, is not here yet. Sophine, she's the goalie for LSU. She's been helping out with a lot of that. And she's like, I have so much appreciation for all the stuff that I buy online because it's so hard to like print out the labels and pack them and take them to the UPS store and all that stuff. Anyway, so it's hard to make money with physicals as it is. So we are a venture-backed company in the digital asset frontier market. Our focus will be to push the envelope and try to find ways in which we can, first of all, create some revenue for ourselves digitally, but also honors the legacy and kind of like the spirit of the space, which is in interacting, in giving back, in like, I'm not an investment manager. Like if you buy something that was created by Miko, you're not, putting stock in my mutual fund. You're not buying shares in my company. Right? If you want me to manage your money, I'll tell you what, my salary when I was doing that was 3x what I'm making right now. I'm happy to have a conversation if you guys want me to manage your money. But right now what we're doing, we're trying to build the digital IP that's foundational to Meebits and create new business opportunities, not just for ourselves, but for the space to really grow and be sustainable, right? So the royalties went away. We get a little bit of royalties here and there, but not really sustainable for us. Kind of wish we had been around in 2021 because that looked amazing. So how do we find digital sustainable ways and really be able to steward this incredible IP through time and really take them to where they belong, which I think Meebits belong in museums. But anyways, that's a like long-winded rant. That's how we think about, kind of like the business side. A lot of people just kind of like show numbers and stuff. I'm happy to talk about, where really the opportunities are, which I think it's in creating digital assets that people want to engage with, that people want to use as, playing cards or characters, or that people use as like entries for games. That's the opportunity I think that we all have here in Web3, not just the companies, but also the collectors, the innovators, the people are participating. I was just a member of a collector group before I became the CEO of Meepco. And that's our focus. We'll continue making really cool physical things because people like them, but our business is not physical. It is 99% digital, and that's what we're here for.
I love it, man. And again, there's not one right way to build.
Totally.
But we're not, I say we, there's very few brands here that are merch companies or physical product companies. There's a few, but most, even those that are, they still should be leaning into the tech. Most are tech companies that it makes sense to drop some physical product. When you do it, tie in the technology, tie in traits. I think you guys had the best. I mean, ComplexCon is an art, fashion, sneaker conference. I think you guys had the best hoodie there, the best piece of merch there, like the Snouts hoodie. And why? Hey, I think it slaps. Even if I had no knowledge of Meebits, but when you see the hoodie and you realize, oh my gosh, this is an actual trait in the collection, like that as a collector, it resonates. Like, oh, this is well done. This is how you do merch in crypto and Web3 is bring through your traits, like tap into that nostalgia. Like create something that, yeah, you may not make $1 million on it, but it's going to further deepen the connection, the emotional connection with your collectors. It's going to further deepen that experience and that nostalgia. And anytime someone looks in their closet and they see that, they're going to think Meebits. Like, it's just, it may sound simple, but maybe it is simple, but it does take a little effort. It takes intent. And I think that's the one thing that I've noticed with whether it's your hoodies, your soccer kits, the figurines, the characters that you guys have sold at at Art Basel. Like, it seems like everything you do, it's with intention and purpose, and it's not just random. Oh, we need to sell some hoodies to pay our electric bill. Like, we need to sell some hoodies to generate a few $1,000s in revenue. Like, that shouldn't be the product's fine and it makes sense, but it shouldn't be the driver for most companies, unless that's what they want to be the best in the world at. It's just, to your point, it's hard. You're competing with really entrenched competitors, and where you don't have an advantage, you don't have a competitive advantage. Here, you can be different. And I think that is one of the benefits that this blockchain tech brings, is we're early to it. You can lean into the technology, and you can sell a $60 hoodie, $100 hoodie that's better than the normal $100
best
hoodie.
looking hoodie out there in the world. And you know what the best part is? By the way, thanks for the compliments. I didn't design it. Nobody designed it. It's designed by Matt Hall and John Watkinson of Larva Labs, whose work sits in the permanent collection of the MoMA, the Pompidou, the ICA Miami, the Whitney. The Whitney has an autoglyph. I don't know if people know that. And so this is like Basquiat designing a t-shirt. Instead of just having like the Basquiat crown printed on a t-shirt, it's actually like a Basquiat design hoodie. It's Larva Labs. And so for me, that's, and we do everything very intentional because we love Meebits. And I think that's the reason why Garga called me back in December of 2024 to offer us the opportunity to us now as a company, because obviously we're a team, but because we've obsessed with Meebits since the very, very early days. And we have a really good relationship with Matt and John, and that's now Stone that works at Larva Labs. And Meebits are art. At the end of the day, Meebits are art. And regardless of what I do with Meebits, what we do with Meebits, it will never change the fact that they are Matt and John's most, I would say, technically exquisite collection there is out there. And, they will transcend. And through time, they're going to outlive us all. NFTs will, hopefully, if Ethereum keeps producing blocks, which I think we all agree that that's most likely the case. And so what we're doing right now is just kind of like having a lot of fun around it and honoring their art, but also at the same time, like, how do we put the tech to good use? And with that, I actually wanted to tell you the trading card packs that you have so those cards were created in partnership with OpenSea and ApeChain, actually. And so given that, again, we've realized that obviously physicals are stuff that people really like interacting with. I love interacting with physicals, but it's not really it's not going to be a revenue driver for us, right? We're not focused on trying to make money on physicals. For us, we're most of the time deciding at cost because we want people to have them. Like our 3D prints, they're like $200. Literally, that's what they cost to make. We don't make a penny on those. And for this, we're partnering with OpenSea and ApeChain, who sponsored, partly sponsored the packets. They actually, if you open it, and the reason why we made this, and we still have thousands of them left because we're going to give them out at Fanatics Fest this weekend, is that first we wanted to put Meebits IP in people's hands, obviously with the football theme. So it's the exact same, collectibles that we have on chain that people could have minted for $16 or 0.01 at the time. But then the second to last, and I think they're great, by the way. Bailey, our creative director, is a genius. He was able to capture the Meebits spirit. Also, we designed all the uniforms. Obviously, we can't infringe IP. Nice, very nice. And so we have, the physical collectibles, but also every pack comes with an ApeChain or an OpenSea collectible. And if you go to the last card after that, you'll find a claim code. So every single pack comes with an NFT of that ApeChain or OpenSea Meebits football collectible. You take it to, I think it's otherside.xyz/lunch, and you will get an NFT of that little Meebit avatar so that you can get started on other side without having to do anything. It could be in your Glyph wallet, again, with our partnership with Yuga. And so the idea here is to onboard folks to NFTs and Meebits and other side through something that's skeuomorphic to them, right? People already collecting cards. When you get a Pokemon pack, you get like your rewards or something, and then with the QR code. So that's exactly why those packs were designed they were, and we have them on sale from the website because we didn't want people to just claim 1,000 for free and then us just like sending them, and again, it's a paying shipping. But if you buy anything from the site, anybody can attest. We'll send as many freaking packs as we can. We've handled them out of different activations we've had here at Saturday's Football, which is a great soccer store here in Soho, at Berry Park, which we had watch parties with Sports Monkey NFT and Board Ape Yacht Club. And we'll be handing them out around Fanatics Fest this weekend here in New York. So that's kind of like going back to what we were saying about using the tech. Unfortunately, it's really hard still to have physical that immediately turns into NFT in your hand and you're accessing it. But Yuga through Clift and all that they're building, I think will get us there eventually. But for now, yeah, you can just give those packs to anybody, or the claim card even, and be like, hey, go claim your first ever NFT. And by the way, it's not just a JPEG on a wallet or sitting on OpenSea, which is great, but you can't do anything with it. No, this is an other side avatar that you can immediately go and take and run around and play games, and have game nights on other side, and other communities have game nights and all the kinds of things. Again, going back to playing with Pokemon cards when I was 12 years old, and not just putting them in an album, but rather putting them in the deck, competing for prizes, and having fun with them. So that's how kind of like it all ties together, and that's kind of like what we'll be continuing to do with Meebits, is just use them as the foundational IP to create projects that are fun, where people can engage with kind of like current events and so on.
I love it, man. I love the collaborations. I love working. I mean, I'm a fan of the Ape team and that community and other side. And you're exactly right. Like, it's not perfect today to get an NFT in someone's hand. But this example where it's, hey, scan a QR code and plug in an email address. Like, it's really that simple. Like, they don't need a wallet. It's not crazy. It's anyone can do it. If they can access the internet, they can do this. And then it's to be not just a, no offense, but not just a JPEG. It's an actual character. It's an in-game character, an avatar. And I think we talk about onboarding the next wave of active participants, the next wave of users. I think this is how it's done. It's not going to be some massive wave where Beeple sells another piece for $69 million and Board Ape Yacht Club mints, and all of a sudden there's millions of people with, you looking for the, this gold rush. Rather, I think a lot of like onesie twosie type onboarding and activation and things that they're passionate about, and then realizing that, oh wow, this card that I scanned and got a digital, it's actually for this in-game platform that actually is pretty cool. I got in there and I played so many games, and beyond I just want to share this because you mentioned earlier and I couldn't find it, but these I don't know, is this one that's been for sale at Art Basel?
Yes, so that is actually Matt Hall's Meebit,
oh, wow,
which he uses as his identifier on the Larva Labs website. We made a 9-inch version of that, and we made an edition of 3. We had one for sale at Art Basel for $2,000, and it sold. We're saving the other 2 out of that edition for later first.
It's amazing.
But sorry, this is John's, not Matt. This is John's. But yeah, same thing applies. We made an edition of 3. It sold. And so if you look at obviously the Snouts hoodie, iconic. You look at the shoes on this Meebit, they're the LL Alien shoes. Obviously Meebits are full bodied, so Matt and John put a lot of detail also in the pants and in the shoes, because most trades were inspired by New York City streetwear. So these shoes have the alien punk eyes on them, and they're obviously, the color is the alien punk color. And so there's a lot of little details and homage that they pay to punks through the Meebit trades, which again, for us, we saw a huge parallel when it came to the World Cup kits that, all the different countries put out this summer. So, but yeah, that's one of the ones that we sold at Art Basel. 9 inches is $2,000. And honestly, I was surprised that it sold, because $2,000 is a lot of money. But yeah, we had a really good relationship with the Art Basel shop. We did Miami, Qatar, Hong Kong, and Basel, Switzerland, which is the main fair, just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. Very successful. We're working on our plans for the next fair. So there's Paris, there's Miami again, Qatar next year, Hong Kong. And it's been really awesome to see them not just embrace Web3 through 010 and everything that Eli and Benny and them are doing on the art side, but also through, kind of like collectibles like ours, which are, more like high-end art toys, because these are like, expensive art. We sell these for like $300, $400 at our Basel shop. We made some custom ones for Qatar and Basel, and then we sold some other prints of just like Meebits that we hold in our treasury. And it's been successful, man. It's been really good to see people, appreciate the physical 3D prints. And one thing that we did with Meebits also earlier this year with Matt and John from Larva Labs, we get asked a lot, is Larva Labs still around? They very much are. They're just, artists and engineers. Very obviously, they like to be on the background, but they surprised us with an anniversary gift, 5th anniversary gift for Meebits, which is they created. I don't know if you know this, but everybody that owns a Meebits, go to Meebits.com, connect your wallet. Now we just have Delegate. We just enabled it last week. And there's about 20 different file types that you can download. All of the Larva Labs models, the 3D models, images, renders. Then Yuga Labs, when they owned Meebits, they also put in a lot of different renders and a poster and so on. And then with Meepco, Larva Labs gifted us, they made a plotter print file. So, like those plotters that are like super artistic, they made one for every one of the 20,000 Meebits. And then we sold prints of them that they signed. So now we have like 200 prints being bought. People bought a print of their Meebit that is signed by Matt and John from Larva Labs. To me, like that's insane. And by the way, they're $160, which I think is quite inexpensive for what they are. But also that file is still in your collector profile. So you can go there and print it and frame it if you want. We actually had a really cool new holder who came in through football and now it's like really into Meebits. They have a kit, like a 5-year-old daughter, I think, and they've been printing out the files to turn them into almost like a DIY coloring book. So it's been really cool to see Larva remain engaged with us. They're awesome. They made us another activation last year. It was called Camogen, which also involved the generative traits that are in the camo prints of Meebits. And yeah, we're very excited for the future of, that's a 3D print. Those are 5 inches. So collectors can order their 3D prints through us, and or if you buy one of the Art Basel ones, which are a little bit more expensive, those through Art Basel shop at the different fairs. So a lot of stuff happening. Again, we're only a year and a half old. A lot of the companies are a little older. So we're really excited that we've been able to make so much progress, and really excited to see, as I was saying at the beginning, everybody taking different shots on goal, different way. I'm glad that people stopped judging every project with the same kind of like, obviously Bored Ape's doing one thing, and Claymno doing something else, and Normie's doing something else, and Meebits doing something else. And I think that really expands the surface area for Web3 as a whole, which is what we all need and what we all want. So it's amazing. Appreciate everybody that supported Meebits through football, through anything else. We still have some just real small shell. We still have some jerseys on the site. Actually, I think we threw a discount on there. I don't know. I kind of just want to get them out of here. We have a couple left. So you want to buy one. They've run a little small, so definitely, size up. But stay in touch.
I'm wearing this is a large, by the way. And it is like, it fits me well. I'm probably normally like a medium plus. So yeah, definitely go with the size up. But they're nice. They're really high quality, and shop.meebits.com to find that. I have, if you got time, another question too.
Yes.
Am I keeping you? Do you have I know you do the stream.
We have a 10:30 stream that AI is already asking where Sophine is.
I was going to say, like, disappointed tuning in looking for Sophine and sees me like, no, I'm not.
She knows so much about the sport. It's like, I just asked her a question. Although we went on some weird tangents yesterday talking about Mexican food in San Diego and so on. But anyways, what's up?
So first, a comment says, sounds like Meebs are a blank slate, like in every quote unquote everyman of NFTs that can fit into a number of containers as IP. So curious, what's next? I wonder what's next for Meebits after the World Cup is over. Leaned into the football stuff. What's next? Where are you heading? Can you kind of speak to that? Like whether it's specifically like the packs, the characters, or just Meebits at large. Like what's the next activation or event we might have to look forward to?
Yes. So we'll be at Marfa. and we were talking about conferences right at the beginning.
Mhm.
It's an incredible event, and we're working on something quite ambitious. Obviously, Adam Weitzman is now the largest holder. He beat me. He bought 800 Meebits from Yuga over at NFC Lisbon. So now he's larger than we are, but I obviously love having him, and he's been a great supporter. So working on some very cool initiatives there that I hate to be like, oh, we can't announcement, but like honestly, they're just for now still ideas. So the next concrete thing that we have coming up is with Meebits Football, we launched a game on Ape Church. Shout out to the Ape Church team on Ape Chain. It's called Football Frenzy.
Nice.
We're developing a new game for Ape Church with them. It's really, really fun. And this one, to highlight we have a director of Vibes, which is our mascot Meebit called Chris. He's on Instagram. The reels are really, really funny. Again, we're not an animation company. We're not pros. We just make things that we like. So at the Meebits on Instagram and TikTok, if you want to follow us. What's next is a break. We're taking a couple of days off because football has been nonstop since December. But then in the fall, we have something that it's not something that you'll expect from Meebits. It's a little bit more edgy, leaning more on Meebits are really family friendly, and this will be family friendly. It's not like bad, but a little bit more mature, a little bit different, and really again us pushing on this idea that Meebits are a bit like Barbie or Lego Man, that depending on what they wear, that's who they can be. And we want to lean into and using the technology in the space, maybe gamify experiences a lot more. I think, people miss an opportunity to just really have fun with their NFTs, even if it's just for a month. Buying a toy to put on the shelf. I was never a collector of that type. Whenever grew up in Mexico, very different circumstances that I live in right now. Like, every Hot Wheel that I bought, it got raised and played and thrown off the roof and ramps and stuff. For me, toys and things like that should be fun to interact with. So it will be similar to Meebits Football in a very different kind of like theme. I'm excited about it, and maybe the team, I still need to get them over the line, to be honest. It's a little edgy, but it's in that direction, and it'll be fun. It'll be an opportunity for people to win stuff, but also at the same time to really see Meebits in like a expanded light, rather than just again something that you buy, you put in your wallet, and you pray that Sergito does something that makes Meebits go to 5 Ether, and then you can sell it and move on. Like that's not really what we're about. We're about exploring the IP and exploring the technology, throwing all that together into a big kind of like cauldron and see what comes out. We'll have some good hits. We'll have some misses as well, but we'll keep on taking shots. I think that's really, again, going back to looking at the history of businesses, right? Like so many, like Steve Jobs got fired from Apple, like twice, right? Like, Facebook had a really bad mobile phone initiative. Google had things that didn't work out. Amazon had things that didn't work out. And so the way to stay, successful, or to try and continue to build for success, is just to keep on trying and trying and trying. And when you find something good, doubling down on it. Yep. But also being able to, stop loss when things are not really going in your direction. So that's again, I think it's just more like, my background and how we're approaching things. But we're very excited about the future, about the people that we have with us. Again, Adam, we have some other like great collectors that very behind the scenes, very Meebit punk style. But shout out to Punk Couple. I mean, they created this whole AI valuation model for Meebits that will eventually make public. They've been using it they bought about 40 Meebits, all off, like they're not on the floor, so like mitts and stuff. Again, very quietly, not somebody that's just like going to sweep just for the sake of sweeping, but really building a collection. And a lot of other partners that have reached out that want to build things with Meebits and that see the vision. So we're excited. I wish we could do things faster, but sometimes we're also just enjoying the journey and the process.
Well, and again, just from my perspective, I think it's not about like, oh, now I got to see something right now, or how fast you're moving. It's that you continue to take shots on goal. You're not going years between activations. You're giving your community different, just different things to get excited about, pay attention to, engage with. And you have a really strong community. It's not just the Adams of the world. Like and I don't know, it's probably partially yourself and how you all are moving and how you're growing the brand. Probably also ties into art itself, the provenance that it comes from Matt and John. And I think of like one of my friends on the timeline, Aspen Shredder, who rocks the Meebit PFP, and he's just talking about he's very passionate about NFTs, loves NFTs. He's, the other day he's talking about like, hey, go buy a $1 NFT anyway, so we can keep driving those basically active buyers, right? And I think that's like he's maybe a good I don't know, like kind of like, and yeah, obviously there's a range and everyone's different, but like a indicator of your average or your stereotypical Meebits community member, where they're not just there for a quick flip or a floor price pump. Like they're really passionate about the space at large. Yeah, they love their Meebits jersey and supporting the team, but they to me, my impression, quite frankly, is like an outsider looking in. I'm not deep in the Meebits community, but everyone I've interacted with, that whether it's on your team or it's someone I know has been part of the community for a long time, they're people I hold in high regard. Like they're really quality people who my impression is they're very passionate about blockchain technology, about NFT, PFPs, the space at large, and that's something to be proud of, right? That's not an accident.
We're very proud.
John help, but you've stewarded the brand very well, and
thank you.
Really quality people.
No, we're extremely honored from the people that joined Meebits when we bought the brand a year and a half ago, the people that have joined us recently, the people that stuck around. Obviously, it's not been good 4 or 5 years for prices, and people have had to sell obviously across the board. But we're just really happy to continue to see people like reach out, and people like Aspen, right? Like he's awesome, and he supports everybody. He definitely supports a lot of different collections, and that's awesome to see, because we need a lot of that. When it comes to Meebits, we try to balance. Obviously, Meebits are art, and that's like our North Star, but also the fact that we're in a fun space. And so we've had the Meebits Cafe in Palo Alto around the node opening. We had the Meebits brunch over in Lisbon. We had the Meebits anniversary event with Matt and John. Like there's 2 ways to get to kind of like to hold a Larva Labs asset that's a PFP, and to get close to Matt and John. It's either buying a $60,000 punk or buying a $600 Meebit. I mean, to me, even though I'm not one to like be shilling all the time, like that is almost like a no-brainer. When if you are into digital art and collecting like the future of the art world, like it's obvious Larva Labs is at the forefront of that, and the fact that you can collect one of their something that they've called like it's even above and beyond what they did with punks. And obviously I love punks, I have punks, I'm a punk first and foremost. It's just like it's so cool that it's there. And so we try to bridge that gap and create fun things with the character, at the same time respecting the legacy and building on top of what they created, which is just, it's a lot of fun. It's a very different challenge from what I see some of my industry colleagues kind of like deal with IP that they created, or also that they took over. Like for us, we do have that responsibility to honor the provenance and the legacy of Matt and John, which at the same time also it's, I think, intrinsically Meebits have that, and they will always be Matt and John's creation, and always be kind of like the key to like kind of like the Larva Labs universe. And people like, people are so happy when they see Matt and John come to the Meebits events. I mean, they were at the Palo Alto cafe that we did. They were there talking about Meebits, talking to people. They came to the New York City event. They were signing the prints. They were talking to folks the whole night. It was a lot of fun. Matt and I then left. We went to dinner, just kind of like the 4 of us with Mrs. Sergito. Then Matt and I went over to Adam's Meebits and ate dinner, and we were there, hanging out with everybody. So yeah, if you like that side of the world, I mean, there's no better entry point, I think, unless you have $60,000 laying around for a floor punk, than buying Meebits. And there's so much more to Meebits. So I'm excited for people to discover Meebits and fall in love just the way that us at Meetco did so many years ago, and continue to do so on a daily basis.
Very cool. Well, I love that the art is the true north, and respecting that legacy that quite frankly Matt and John kicked off as it relates to NFT PFPs. And punks are always going to be punks, but personally as a collector, as an active participant in the space, I'd much rather collect art that comes with some perks, that comes with some utility, that comes with, and I'm not expecting 5-6 figure magical internet money airdrops, but like something to do. Like I enjoy the community here. I enjoy the space. And to have these frequent ongoing activations where you're experimenting on chain, you're pushing the tech forward. What is possible here? and doing so with your community in mind, rewarding them when you can, providing a little extra utility, not gouging them with price points of stuff, but finding ways to do different things, still going back to the art as the true north, but having the multi activations throughout the course of a year. That's exciting to me. And personally, I'd much prefer to invest in that sort of art than a $60,000 JPEG that is just going to sit in my wallet. I'm never going to do anything. Maybe I get a brunch once a year, right? Like, cool.
Hey, the brunches are fun. I love the brunches.
And I'm not knocking punks. It's just, and there's nothing wrong with just pure putting art on chain. It's just when it comes to NFT, PFPs, and people building a business around it, like I really appreciate how you're moving and keeping your supporters, your holders, your collectors in mind, without like, it's not, nothing you're doing is dilutive to the original art, right? It's like, yeah, you created these new cards, these new characters.
That's always our goal.
It's not taking away, it's additive. It's not dilutive. And I think a lot of others can, you're not dropping like, it's not, oh, Meebits 3, Meebits 4, it's
Meebits.
right. Yeah.
No, we're not dropping Meebits until Meebits are like 15 Ether floor, and I can finally convince Manager to finish that. But no, thank you for the kind words. And I was collecting first, right? I came in through punks and then fell in love with Meebits and was a Meebit guy for better or worse on X for years. And so everything we do comes from that. And Bailey came in through Web3 to Meebits, Hunter, S10, Hazu's a recent joiner, but he's fallen in love with Meebits. And so yeah, the fact that we get to steward and develop Madam John's iconic collection is just something that we never take for granted. And it's something that we want to keep on doing, right? So Meepco needs to survive as a viable company for us to continue stewarding the brand. So if people appreciate the way we've done that so far, then their support with engaging with us in, especially on the digital side, minting things, which is really where we're trying to create revenue streams for the company, is much appreciated. And yeah, we want people to walk into our Basel and being able to say, hey, look, you see those things right there? Yeah, I own one of those. Or to be able to come to the best events. I was part of the team that created Punks Brunch back in 22.
Oh, wow. I did not know this. Today I learned.
Three of us. Yeah, three of
Very
us.
cool.
And so, I feel like that's one of the best things I've done in the space. And so, yeah, Meebits brunches are going to be better. It's because, as a human being, you just want to do things better for your next iteration. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate everybody and your support. And now that the algo's back, I'm going to start, maybe reminding people of all the stuff that we've done. And it's not a competitive thing. It's more like an invitation to come explore what Meebits are. Again, if you like the art's amazing. You have all these models. You can play with them. You can throw them into an LLM, and it can create things for you. If you want the utility side, we'll have a lot of different games and activations. I mean, the football collectibles are beautiful. Obviously, the floors come down a lot now because, the game ends on Sunday. But is there anything
real quick on that, on the game itself, if someone's just hearing about this, excited about the game, other than going to PAX, getting the character, is there anything on the can they do anything today, for the
game is pretty much ended. The final result comes out on Sunday, so there was 5 divisions for the bracket, and the fantasy games are done. But the collectibles are awesome. They're awesome, and they're a key into the Meebco ecosystem, and you'll get a collector profile at Meebits.com by just owning one of the Meebits full collectibles. I would say the Group 1 collectibles in our naming was a little weird, which are the 6 countries that we dropped in September that you can find on OpenSea. There's Meebits Football Group 1. Those are redeemable for 2-inch 3D printed sculptures of them.
Okay.
And so, by the way, those things cost us $30 to print. The thing, I think the floor is $11. Obviously, people will have to pay shipping and handling, but we will honor. You guys can burn those, and you can get the little 3D printed figurines that are amazing. Have them in my desk at home, not here. But yeah, what I want people to have little physical reminders. We brought him a Meebit 3D sculpture. He has it on his desk. Looks at it every single day that he's making his everydays. And that's what I want. So yeah, so that's a football collectibles. Once the World Cup is over, we'll open a portal to test and again, for us, this is also a testing ground. How do we turn digital into physical, back into digital? Always playing with the tech, always trying to think of ways beyond what is being offered so far and what is being allowed in the market. And so, yeah, you can buy one of these. We'll burn the NFT, or you'll send it to us, and we'll send you a 2-inch 3D printed sculpture of printed by the same company that prints the ones that we sell for our Basel, the ones that did the prints for our Marfa exhibit. Yeah, so those are the test prints.
I don't think you could buy a collectible like this for $12 or whatever the floor is right now. Like it's
yeah. So those are all test pieces. As you can see, the hair got a little better on the second one, and the height and so on. But like just the detail on 3D prints is not something that you can match with anything else. And so we don't have the volume to do like vinyl blind boxes. It's great that everybody that does and likes them. But we do like, in the nature of Meebits being like specialized and individualized, the fact that we can offer this 3D prints. And if you buy a Meebit off the floor, or any Meebit really, you can reach out and we'll, you can order a 3D print, obviously at a cost.
okay.
No,
Not just to be clear, not even the football ones. You're talking like the OG Meebit collection. They can buy a print of their Meebit. Is that?
Yes, anybody can buy a 3D print of their Meebit. We do monthly orders just to keep the volume together, and we get a little bit better price. Again, we make zero money. Sometimes we lose money because they break. Not gonna lie, and we pay that out of pocket. And for us, the idea of the physical products, at least with the audience that we have today, is we just want people to be able to like feel and touch the collection in a way that you can't with the digital. But really, what we're trying to build is a digital asset business.
I love it. Well done, man. We talked about stewards and stewarding the brand. I want to give a little bit of flowers, just real briefly, to Yuga, because I think I don't know. I mean this genuinely. I don't know if they could have picked better stewards with Spencer and Moonbirds for that on that brand, and Meebits tapping you as the steward of this brand and coming to this deal to allow you to continue this on. It's like I'm a fan of Yuga. Meebits is in much better hands with you than it was with them. As like, I don't want to say it was an afterthought. I don't want to say they were disrespecting the brand. They were fine stewards in the place and time.
They were great stewards.
To continue wanting to grow. They need someone like yourself who you're waking up and you're sleeping, breathing Meebits. And I don't think they could have picked. I'm not just saying this to glaze you because you're on the show. I don't think they could have picked.
Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And also thanks to One Confirmation, who gave us the funding that allowed us to create Meepco. And they picked a great steward for punks too, with Node and Miki and that team. So no, Yuga was a great steward. I think it was just bad timing, right? The bear market hit and the lights got turned off on everybody. But they did a lot of really good things for Meebits, and a lot of what we're building on other side, for example, is on top of what they built. So grateful to Garga and the team then, and now obviously to Figi. We have a great working relationship with everybody, James and Juan and PP Man, and I'm gonna leave everybody like people out by Tina.
Are you? I know you said no NFT NYC. Are you doing? Are you gonna plan to do Ape Fest at People's this year?
I will try. We will be like in the heat of Marfa planning and also our other activation that, again, we're still 70-30 as far as what we're doing digitally. But I honestly, I would love to go, but I don't know that I'll be able to make it. And NFT NYC it's our anniversary, our wedding anniversary, and Mr. really got into it.
Definitely way more important than NFT NYC.
Well, we're going to the Italian Grand Prix, which we once a year we do a race, and so I'm really excited for that one, especially because Kimi, is leading the championship. He's Italian, so it's awesome.
Very cool. I know we got to get you out of here. I know you got your stream coming up at 10:30. That's live from the Meebits account.
Meebits on my account, yes.
I've pinned a few posts up top. Go check those out if you want more information. If you're not already following, the Meebits account is in the audience right now. And again, there's a few pinned posts up top. Go give them some love. It costs. You don't have to go buy a kit. You don't have to buy a jersey or some packs of cards. It's a great way to support an active Web3 builder who's taking shots on goal and doing so with the tech. They're doing so in a way that I think is, speaking of stewards, like it's not just a good steward of Matt and John's art, but this is how we grow crypto. This is how we grow Web3. This is how we grow these NFT, PFP native brands. Is experiment on chain, do different things. It's not just shipping some random physical product, but finds ways to bring it back to the tech. And if you're not going to go purchase a kit or a pack of cards, you don't have to. Go give the account some love. Go, repost the stream when they go live here in a few minutes. I know that's like 60 seconds and counting. Is there anything other than that stream, anything else that we didn't hit on today that you'd like to see them?
Oh man, the problem is if you get me talking Meebits, I can talk for 12 hours. But no, appreciate support. Appreciate you bringing such good vibes every single morning. I try to tune in on my commute to the office every single day. It's great to see people coming back to the space. I think, the mentality going forward has changed, and that's good, giving people the opportunity, giving companies the opportunity to take different shots on goals, we're saying, with different goals, understanding where there are different life cycles, right? Like different everything. So I'm excited for everybody. Our little pickleball league. I'm excited to see Meebits continue to kind of just pioneer some of the stuff we've been pioneering, and then following the lead of so many others that have done really cool things. Like we're not emasculated by doing the same thing that somebody else has done. If that's what our community wants and it makes sense for our brand, we'll do it too. Like that's great. Not just because the Cowboys run the shotgun offense doesn't mean that the Buccaneers cannot run it too. Like why not? We're all playing the same game. But I appreciate you, Cap.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate all you're doing. And yeah, everyone, like it's okay to like experiment, try new stuff. But it's also if you see that works and another community is excited about it, it's okay to duplicate it, copy it, put your own spin on it. And yeah, go Argentina, go Messi, and shouldn't have been on the sour note. But I truly am. I'm geeked about not just the World Cup. We're going to be doing. If you want, you're welcome to join we're going to do a Premier League fantasy league this year.
You know what? I don't really watch soccer like that.
You're not pure degenerate like myself that I have to start watching.
I was raised in a way that my dad was like, you have one team for life.
Okay.
And so that's Pumas in Mexico. It wasn't even my dad's team. And then when I moved to New York, it's really hard to watch Mexican soccer here. It's a family thing in Mexico, right? You hang out on Saturday evening or Sunday, and it's a family thing. Didn't have that here. Kind of just lost, that kind of like doing that. And then can't cheer for Premier League or La Liga. Like it's just, it doesn't feel like, for me, it's such a personal thing. It's such a personal thing. And yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll tune in and like, if it's a good Mexican player that's having a great run, like I will support them. But I have a hard time following leagues that I didn't kind of like, that are not part of who I am. No, I mean, I am excited to see your soccer content, and I will gladly engage with it. Just like I've been engaging with stats, just like, kind of like giving him shit for all his like, oh, it's called soccer now posts with like, oh, offside rules and PKs. Again, I think people sometimes don't realize my humor, like, it's a little bit of a thicker skin, and I don't mean ill to people. It's just when you're on a trading floor for 12 years, like, dude, you are getting like shit on the whole freaking day. Like you just live in a place where it's like, but it's for fun. It's for fun. And sometimes it doesn't translate. That's the best way to Twitter. But yeah, if anybody has a problem, DM me.
One bucket list item I have, because you're a Mexican team. While they're not still alive, I think they hopefully made you proud. No exaggeration. That game at Azteca was maybe the most exciting football sporting event period that I've seen in a long time. So much like I've got to go watch a match here at some point in my life. Like it is.
Let's go. Now. They will have friendlies with Cape Verde and I think Morocco and Azteca. We should do a Web3 trip.
Agreed. I'm
happy to host in Mexico City. I took Bobby Hundreds
cool.
once in Mexico City, and some of the other artists, and it was a lot of fun. We should do it again.
Yeah, I'm all the way in. I'm in Mora. Gilberto Mora is on my list of like, this kid is one of the next phenoms in sport, period.
Morita, man, God, I can talk about this forever. I don't know, Mexican Instagram really was all about Morita. And so I don't know if you know this, but like Memo Ochoa, our goalie that played in 6 World Cups, he's 40 now. And Morita is 17. And so the whole kind of like character people created in their minds was Don Memo. It's like saying Mr. Memo. So like Guillermo Ochoa. He was like parenting Gilbertito. And the people made AI videos of kind of like Memo Ochoa going to like the Morita's room and being like, hey, here, please don't forget to do your homework. Or then like it would be like Morita going up to his mom being like, hey, mom, can I go please play with Memo, with Mr. Memo? And like, we're going to go play England. It was just so funny. Like it was in 40 years of life is the best I've ever seen my country. I cried so many days, just out of nostalgia, happiness. I've never seen Mexico so united, and it's the politics right now in Mexico are disgusting, but seeing the country come together like this, and man, I get chills thinking about it. And big regrets not going down, but yeah, it made me in New York. So many Mexicans. There was like Mexicans everywhere, just fist bumping everybody. But I do have to go now. Thank you so much for the hospitality.
Sorry for keeping you so long. Appreciate your time, and we'll do it again. We'll certainly be following, supporting, and thanks so much for joining us today.
Appreciate you.
Have a great stream.
Thank you.
That was this is the Builder's Domain, brought to you by Doma Protocol. If you're not familiar with Doma, go check them out at doma.xyz. I'll do a proper play out here and then a final thought or two before we get you out of here. I know we ran a little long today, but enjoying the conversation, and thanks to Doma for supporting the
Builders in motion, big ideas moving out in the open. Screens glow, coffee in the cup, from the stage to the screen, watch it build up. New tools, new rails, new ways to move. Team locked in and the signal comes through. From the first spark to the thing that's real. Tell me what's next, tell me what's the bill, yeah. Tell me what's next, tell me what's the bill, yeah.
I intentionally did not do a daily market update today. I didn't want to jinx anything. I think it's chilled for a minute and a little bit of pullback, but starting to go again. So I didn't want to do a daily market update. It's like kind of like doing it mid God candle. It would have been like it'd be like screenshotting a chart or your P&L. So I didn't want to jinx anything. But yeah, we're cooking again this morning. ETH up 20 or 3.3% of the day. This is the right around 820, 825. Things went. It went from 1879 to 1931, and it's not just ETH. Where things continue. I mean, it's been a minute since we've seen. I mean, you got to go a ways to find something red on the chart. Bitcoin Cash, the only thing down in the top 20. I'm sorry, Bitcoin Cash and Graham, previously Toncoin, is down on the day. Everything else having a green one. Bitcoin back up over 65, and hopefully the good vibes continue. So appreciate y'all tuning in today. Hyperliquid up 6.5%, almost pushing 69 here very soon. But appreciate y'all tuning in today. Thanks so much. Appreciate the support and love on the show, getting things warmed up. Go check those pinned posts out up top. I also pinned up the reminder links for tomorrow's show. We'll be back as always 8 o'clock Eastern time. And until tomorrow, have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.